getting Twitter notifications, but I'm
There we
definitely
go.
not getting
There
the
we go.
YouTube notification yet. Speaking of
No,
which,
no,
I haven't
I
even
got it. I
responded to my
think
Twitter
we're
because my
live
Twitter
now.
was blowing up a little bit earlier.
We're live now. What's up? What's
Okay.
up? Shout out to everybody that's live right now with us.
You
Man, we got
know,
an action-packed show. What's up?
I actually just had a quick epiphany when I'm writing down the list that you sent me while I was at work about the show topics for today.
Okay.
I'm transferring so I can just kind of like notate and kind of deduct as I go. You know what I mean? Like when we talk about the multitude of things we're about to discuss, I like to make sure we try to at least get to everything. So at least we know what to carry over. But one thing I was thinking of right quick is you got the songwriter's note. So yesterday I did what I like to call my Backup for Fun podcast with my dear friend Andrew Mirror Music. And we compared Rush's Circumstances, the group Rush Circumstances. They're from Toronto, from where Drake is from.
Okay.
So we compared Circumstances to Tupac's Changes, but one of the things that we noticed is that like the Toronto just music scene is like very dark and dense lyrically. Like lyrically, it was actually comparable to Tupac's Changes. Usually when Andrew and I cover a song, the songwriting is usually stronger on the MC side. And that's actually what I wanted to kind of highlight when I saw songwriters, because I was actually thinking when Andrew and I like juxtapose these pop songs to the hip hop songs, the deep writing is almost always on the rap side, like all the literary devices, because Andrew's the English teacher.
Right.
All the literary devices usually are on the rapper side, and it was kind of cool to cover a rock group that like had some deep literary devices, and they came from Toronto. And then I was just thinking about some of the MCs that come from Toronto and just some of the Toronto music scene. Remember Cardinal Official?
That was my first introduction to Toronto MCs.
Me too.
Him and Choclair. I'm trying to figure out which one was which one was first for me.
I feel like it was Cardinal first, but I feel like Choclair was like maybe 6 to 12 months after, or could have been at the same time.
They were around like the same period.
Yeah, no,
like
it
those
was.
guys,
so that
man.
was just my brief epiphany thought when I was going through our list right quick. But how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. We got a lot to get to today, man. Eminem's dropping.
I knew you were going there.
Greatest hits. It's his second greatest hit. So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know what? Looking at the quote unquote track list, and we're going to get to that because I don't know if this track list is official. Because I think that he tweeted out something about an official track list coming out. But it seems like, I guess, his greatest hits from like 2009 on or 2007, something like that on. And yeah, I want to know, like, you know, what constitutes as a hit, because some of these songs I'm seeing on here, obviously his numbers are going to be there, but what does it mean? So I think that we can kind of go through some of those things. I know the first order of business, though, you and I talk about basketball a lot, and, you know, we got the news the other day that Bill Russell passed. I know you were really, really big on Bill Russell on this show.
I am. You want me to start or do you want to go?
Go ahead.
I think I want to speak outside of basketball, just actually. I think he's one of the most important figures, black and or white, of pretty much like the last 200, 300 so years. Whatever you would consider to be modernized civilization and train of thought and standard and way of living, for however long that's occurred, we just lost one of the most important people on earth. He is more than there are civil rights activists and then there are civil rights leaders. Okay? This was a leader of the highest order, a man of deep intellect and integrity, a fighter in all contexts, a high-level competitor, and as we know, sports-wise, a winner. Some of the things that I've even been finding out, like, he was front row at Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, like in the front row, because that's where Dr. King asked him to be, So that kind of speaks. I believe Dr. King actually asked him to be on stage in some sort of shape, form, or fashion for the I Have a Dream speech, and he actually declined, so they put him in the front row instead. So think about who his man is, that in Dr. King's seminal and most notable and memorable moment, this is somebody that he wanted to be like pretty much there next to. So that's just who he is as a man, which I think needs to be highlighted the most because we lost a great man. But as a winner, we just lost professional sports greatest winner. A lot of people talk about the 11 for 13. A lot of people don't understand the 11 for 13 is actually supposed to be 12 for 13. They won a title, and then in the, I believe it's 1958 finals, he got hurt in game 3, and they lost in 6 games, but that's because he didn't come back until game 6. And he was still hurt in game 6. He just came back because they were about to lose. And I think like Bob Pettit scored 50 points in that game. And pretty much after that, the Celtics won 8 straight titles. And Bill Russell spent the rest of his career abusing Bob Pettit, including in the All-Star game where he was also 11-1. So he was 11-1 in the finals and in the All-Star game. And as far as Game 7 or elimination games go, he has a perfect record of 21 for 21 if you include high school, college, amateur, and pro. He is quite simply the type of man we are not going to see again.
Who was the first black NBA player?
I'm not sure of his name. I know Bill Russell is like the 4th or the 5th, though. So he's also integral in that, too. Okay, so like the guy who got drafted, I think like the first black player ever, or one of those first few guys, like tried to intimidate Bill Russell when he got to the league, and Bill Russell like knocked him unconscious. That's what I mean when he was a fighter. Like they sent the other black guy to try to like handle the young rookie black guy, and he knocked him out.
If I can remember correctly, I think it was 3 players at once or something like that. I think that's why they normally don't highlight it in the way they do, Jackie Robinson or whatnot.
No, let me look that up right quick because that is important.
Yeah, that is important stuff.
Earl Lloyd,
okay. So
Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, Nat Clifton. So you're right.
Gotcha.
It's a 3 for 1.
Okay.
So Earl Lloyd is technically first, though. And I think there's like one guy before Bill Russell and then Bill Russell. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Bill Russell was a few years ahead of Wilt, right?
Yes.
Now, for our audience out there, what would you say makes him a civil rights leader?
Oh, I mean, just his train of thought and people don't understand. This is a man that lived in probably the most racist city in the nation during the time when the civil rights era went on. And quite frankly, he was a man that didn't tolerate a lot. Like sometimes being an activist of change is by enlightening those who are ignorant around you and also inspiring those who are afraid around you. And so he is the snapshot, picture perfect encapsulation of those things. The rhetoric that this man had towards white people in a time where where it would get you killed, quite frankly, if you said those things. His unwaveringness and his unwillingness to sway from, what was right for his people, what's right for all human beings and mankind, but also in the public speaking aspect and in the support of other people in their strifes, like Dr. King, like Muhammad Ali. Like he's there at all our seminal civil rights moments, essentially, that he can be at. Like, I just found out that him and Wilt Chamberlain, they asked him and Wilt Chamberlain to proceed with the playoff game to keep the tensions down one time racially, So he's an integral piece of the movement. And I don't mean that from a basketball perspective. Like, I feel like he would have been a civil rights leader had he not been a basketball player. That's what I mean about the greatness of the man.
I think his demeanor is a reflection of what a large populace of Black America was like in that era, too. I mean, if we think about our grandparents and, grandmothers, grandfathers, my grandparents grew up, or they're from Alabama, their parents, too. They weren't getting pushed around like that. You know what I mean? I think that we see a lot of film, and you constantly see that film of us getting sprayed with hoses and sicked with dogs, and you just think that, we were just sitting here getting hit with rocks. I think that there was a lot more going on that mainstream media won't let a lot of people, won't have people privy to. I mean, even the Watts riots, things of that nature. After Dr. King was murdered, the riots that happened throughout that whole week that were actually integral in many bills getting passed. Similar to what we saw in 2020 when people start, tearing stuff up. Bills was getting passed left and right. It wasn't no elections getting that stuff passed. So I think that yes, that's a clear indication is him being a winner, him being a strong-willed individual. I think he was a reflection of what um, the climate was really like. Not an anomaly in that sense, but maybe from a mainstream standpoint, because based on his athletic ability and his ability to dominate in his sport, you couldn't undercut that or sugarcoat it.
I agree. He was a very strong man. Like he was, I think the media thought of him as like an intolerable soul. But what's the quote by James Baldwin? To be a black man in America is to be angry all the time.
Again, they did that same thing with Barry Bonds, man. They talk about Barry Bonds' relationship with the media, but he saw what Willie Mays, his godfather, and his father, Bobby Bonds, went through in that similar era. I want to say same era, maybe a couple of years after Bill Russell. How's he supposed to treat the media?
I mean, you got to think about it. Bill Russell is getting drafted in like 1956. Mm-hmm. So Bonds Senior and Mays. Actually, I mean, matter of fact,
they're in the 60s.
That might have been the year that Willie Mays like came along and started breaking in too. Like that's literally around the same time.
Exactly. So how's he supposed to treat the media when he comes of age and is kicking y'all ass? Jay Short with the super chat says M's track list is trying to present merely good songs as a hit. Imagine Jay-Z putting Hater in a greatest hits album. They're trying to rewrite history. Oh man, we're gonna get to this. I can't wait. Damn, I think we am I missing some more? But yeah, Bill's a great guy, man, and I hate, life goes on and all that. I just hate when we lose somebody that has that much information with them, And I feel like, even not to interrupt you, but even when we think about Jim Brown, nobody talks to Jim Brown. They act like he's not here or something. All those years that Chuck Berry was here, he passed not too long ago. It's like these people have a wealth of information, and I wish that I think they did a good job of keeping Bill Russell around and keeping him visible. But I would love to see interviews with elders and people who've been around so long and have done so much, and we not just talk about them when they're no longer here.
Hey, Mike, I think Bill Russell might have been the fourth black player.
Okay.
Like, people don't understand when
That's
Bill Russell
huge,
came along.
Because
like
the first three came in together. So he's damn near the second. You know what I mean?
Like Bill Russell, Casey Jones, Sam Jones, Wilt Chamberlain, like Oscar Robertson, like all those guys, they're not just like Hall of Fame players. They're some of the first black players. Mm-hmm. Like people are like if you played basketball, professional basketball as a black man, like at any time during the 50s, or I would say before 1962, 63, actually, like if you know what I'm saying, like you were probably, they had to let you in. You were just too damn good.
I was going to say, yeah.
Like, not to let in. Bill Russell is the NBA's first black superstar.
Yeah. Straight up.
Yes. Like think about this. I want people to think about this. He made all NBA first team, I think it was 4 times, and then second team 8 times. Wilt, obviously. But think about this. The media decided who made first or second team.
Right.
The players decided who won MVP. Guess who has the most MVP awards? Until Kareem surpassed him, and Mike has tied him. But he won 5 MVP awards. Those 5 MVP awards voted on by his peers.
Yep.
That's with Wilt in his prime. That's with Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor in their primes. You go ahead and count up all their MVP awards, they still don't have his 5.
Well,
what does that say about him?
Speaking of which, I mean, when you're talking about playing during a climate like that, and somebody like Jim Brown doesn't win the Heisman, it's like at the end of the day, what does this stuff even mean? You know what I mean?
So this is what I mean about him being unwavering. So him and Tommy Heinsohn got drafted in the same draft, and they gave Tommy Heinsohn Rookie of the Year over him. And Bill Russell told him flat out, like, he doesn't deserve it. He's pretty much scoring because I'm blocking shots, rebounding, and getting him the ball where he can shoot it and make points. I'm the one doing everything. He doesn't deserve it. And they had a strenuous relationship from then on because Bill Russell didn't play that shit. He didn't care if he got – no, he's like, no, He's pretty much like, I deserve the award, so go ahead and hand it over. And Heinsohn wasn't that type of guy. Like, you can go look up Tommy Heinsohn as well, because he lived in Boston and is a legend of them. But Bill Russell didn't care for him, Mike. So what does that really say?
I mean, it is what it is. Like,
he played. So he played with guys like that.
How many championships did he win?
Heinsohn?
Yeah.
I think he won 8 of those. Like all of those guys won because of Bill Russell. I'm telling you something. I was watching the 1963 finals the other night. Mike, it is ridiculous how many easy shots he's getting them.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous how many easy shots he's getting these players. Like these Celtics players, and it's not because they're just white. I'm not saying this. They just happen to be white. But these white boys are all getting open looks. Have the check, Kuzi, Heinsohn. I was just watching it with my own eyes. He would literally block somebody's shot, rebound the ball, get the break started. Kuzi's pushing the ball up the floor. They give it to Russell. Somebody collapses. He shoots it back to the middle of the top of the key. Open jump shot. Done.
I mean, again, like you said, when he went down, they didn't win.
Right.
Yeah.
They weren't a threat before or after him for another decade almost.
Well, rest in peace to Bill Russell. And I know we got a lot to cover today, but one of the greats, one of the all-time greats, and I didn't even realize that he was the 4th black player in NBA history.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Yep.
Somebody's got something else, let me know, because it's like when I'm doing my research, the only people that are coming up are the 3 that we just named. And he's 56, and he was kind of like a big deal. So,
yeah. You know something I missed out, man, on our show, I want to say a couple of episodes ago. It wasn't last episode, previous one from there, maybe last Wednesday. We were talking about the greatest intros ever.
Yes.
And it's funny, man, Astro World celebrates 4 years today. The intro to Astro World, Stargazing, I think, is one of the best intros I've ever heard. I'm going to have to go way back to find something better. Ooh, they're talking about Mace in the chat. We're going to get to this Mace thing.
Yeah, hold on. I agree with you. So when you said that, I was a little busy yesterday, and it sat on me for a minute, and then I thought about something. What we're really missing is the best intro and intro song combo, because we have too many intros and too many songs. And so what I would submit to you is that I think the best intro and then song combination is Gangstar's Moment of Truth. The intro to Moment of Truth where Guru's talking into You Know My Steez, I think that's the best actual intro into a song, but there are other candidates like the intro to The Chronic into Dre Day, the Genesis on Illmatic in the New York State of Mind. But I started thinking on that level about the intros too. It's like, well, who's got the actual just best technical intro and then song after it? Because a lot of our favorite intros like Ambitions of a Rider, Stillmatic intro, Stargazing, there's no actual intro.
Well, see, me personally, and maybe that's just me like being the kind of listener that wants to get straight up to the music, I don't love those other type of intros, like the It Was Written intro or whatever with the...
I don't love it.
I don't love that. I like it when the song comes right in. I like when you rip the package off the CD. We used to do that back in the day. Put the CD in, and then you got a record like the Dynasty intro or like The Ruler's Back, like with music as opposed to people talking.
No. I feel you on that. But like some intros help set the tone. You know what I mean?
Which ones do you think help set the tone the most when it comes to talking intros?
No, that's what I mean. It's like, it's rare that it happens. It's like, that's what I mean. It's like, I remember that Chronic intro.
Okay.
And it's like, well, we had never heard anybody talk like that on the intro before. You knew you were about to hear some other shit from Dre. Like, this wasn't like, because of how Snoop Dogg was joking and playing on it, you knew it wasn't about to be like as serious and murderous as the NWA stuff. And you felt like it wasn't about to be as lyrical as the DOC stuff. And it was right. So when it was an appropriate setup. And so when I look at a great intro that doesn't have music, it has to have the music to kind of back it up to make it appropriate. That's why I like Moment of Truth, because he literally says, we have certain formulas, but we update our formulas with the times. And then he says, so the rhyme style is elevated, the beat style is elevated, but it's still Guru and Premier. And he's like, and there's always a message. And then My Steez comes on and it's like, well, the beat style is elevated. And then you hear Guru, and that's the best he ever sound. Who's a suspicious character with the sounds profound, similar to round spit by Derringer? You're in the Terror Dome, like my man Chuck B said. He never rhymed like that before. So it's like you hear the intro and then you hear the come in. It's like, up, check, let's go.
Hassan Sykes with the super chat says, Redman, Is He For Real is a great intro.
Ooh.
That is a dope
Ready
intro.
to Die. Ready to Die is a very dope ass intro. That's the most well put together intro. I don't know if it's the best, but as far as well put together.
It kind of piggybacks off of the Chronic too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could tell there's very Chronic influence. I don't want to skip around too much.
Playing in the background when he's getting out of jail. Yeah. I love that. Like as a hip hop head, when you were a fan, when you opened up Ready to Die and you hear the bars opening, but Snoop's in the background and the shiznit is playing, it's like, yeah.
Yo, thumbs up in the chat, everybody. We about to get to it today. We got a whole lot to talk about. Now that you mentioned Dre and you talk about those levels, I was listening to What's the Difference the other day, and I was like, this Exhibit verse is crazy. I think Exhibit had to. I mean, that whole line, never knew about the next level until Dre did it. I stay committed while you motherfuckers babysit it. I smashed the critics like an overhand right from Riddick. What? I be catching bitches while bitches be catching feelings. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I hop hollows and pop. I'm like, yo, we're sleeping on X's verse. For real, it shouldn't even be a question.
I'm gonna piggyback off of you saying that, and I'm gonna take it a step further and let you know we're sleeping on Exhibit because I've been playing Bitch Please.
Oh man,
and he's snapping on Bitch Please.
He is, man. I remember rewinding Bitch Please back in the day. Like, yo, this dude's going
killing it. I was like,
Exhibit ready to scrap like Mike Tyson with his license back. 9 to 5 minimum wage. What type of life is that for me? It's blasphemy. He's touching down with the Sundance Kid and Butch Cassidy. You got the audacity to want to tangle with the ex, strangle your neck, slap you like the opposite sex, or whatever version that you want. Like, both versions he killed. That was the clean version, I think. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. No. He's pretty.
But that whole thing about never knew about the next level until Dre did it, that's what I'm talking about. When you hear Dre shit, it's another level, man. It's something else. Man with the super chat says, Diddy, the saga continues. Bull's theme intro was fire.
Man, I don't think that's in this conversation. But
that's what I try to tell people when it comes to this versus stuff. Man, I mean, it sounds good in theory, and you know how I love Kanye. I don't even know if Kanye can match up against Dre in a versus setting because of how next level that Dre shit sounds when it comes through the speakers, man. It's very tough for anybody.
I mean, you're taking a lot of L's. Okay, so it's like when you're messing with Dre's catalog, it's like, well, first of all, you won't be winning anything by a lot if you win. If you win, you'll be winning by 1 or 2.
He's going to have to make mistakes.
Because he's got about 6 or 7 or 8 songs where that's just an L for everybody damn near. Unless you would have to play your best. It's like, okay, so Wu-Tang Clan could beat him. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Like the entire Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, you talking about the entire Wu-Tang Clan?
Like, bring the pain.
I'll tell you this, bro. I'll tell you this.
You know what
I'll
I'm
tell
saying?
you this. In a 20-song verses, Dre and Snoop.
Hey, Shayla goes. Like, you'd have to play all the bangers.
Dre and Snoop could compete with the whole clan if we're going 20 down. Now, if we're going 20 deep, Dr. Dre and Snoop, that's how strong they are as a unit.
No, that's how top-heavy their top is.
Mm-hmm. Jay Short says, Exhibit, it said, if you get Exhibit the right beat, it's over. Right. And that's the reason why when him and Dre came together, it was a problem, man. Exhibit was on a tear when he got with them. You remember the song The Game Don't Wait, that Warren G remix?
Yes.
He killed that. He killed the Tash song, Jesus G's. What
40 Days, 40 Nights?
No. I'm talking about, 40 Days, 40 Nights is dope. But, like he said, you got to get Exhibit the right beat. But when he got hooked up with Dre and them and they started that run from Bitch Please on to Restless, he was on a tear.
I liked Restless.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way you do.
Okay.
It could have been better. And I think he caught the tail end of the movement.
Right, still went platinum.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think Restless is still the reason why he got Pimp My Ride and all that stuff. I mean, it served its purpose. But as far as like living up to its potential, it fell slightly short. But you know.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of verses, you know what anniversary it is today?
I didn't until I got your note.
Yes, you got the Lox and Dipset 1 year anniversary of Versus. You know what? Is that the last great moment the Versus has had?
Unequivocally, indubitably.
Is it over from here? Is that just a distant memory at this point?
What is Versus? I'm sorry, what are we talking about again?
Yeah, I know, man. I think that it might have died with that Ray J, Bobby V, etc. R&B verses.
Hold on, you mean the Mario and Omarion one?
Yeah, that one. I'm sorry. I can't leave out the headline. That's my
very problematic that you didn't bring up the headline.
Listen, let's keep it a buck, man. Ray J was the star of that whole thing. But if we dial back to a year ago, you and I both thought the Dipset was going to win that versus. And, you know, before y'all trash us in the chat, I'm sure a lot of y'all thought the same thing.
No, I mean, first of all, I've told you, shame on me. I'd like to apologize.
I should never doubt Jada. I doubted Jada twice, man.
No. You were definitely like, you were so off base about the Fab thing. Like, that's your fault. I don't want to be attached to that one. But I told you that I thought Dipset was going to win slightly. But I told you also, too, they was going to have to play it right. But you want to know what? First of all, the Lox won for a multitude of reasons. One, their hit catalog is sneaky good because it's all over the place on everybody's shit. They've been everywhere and done everything with everybody.
Right.
So put some respect on their... I think too often we look at their catalog in the album sense and we don't look at the totality of what they've really done sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because their outside album work is better than most people's in-album work, including at times theirs. You feel me? It's like they have hip-hop classic stuff everywhere on a radio sense and on a street sense. Like they have Honey Remix, but they have Blackout.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And they have the mixtapes. I told you. Now, here's what I told you. And I do remember saying this to you, and I want credit for this. I was like, if the Lox stick to their roots and do the shit like Mighty D Block, I said Dipset's gonna have a problem. And you were like, I don't like Mighty D Block.
I didn't like Mighty D Block. I still don't.
I said if they do Mighty D Block, I said if they're in that type of zone where they're doing shit like that, I said Dipset has a problem.
You're right.
That's exactly what happened.
It's two things that won that versus, and it's what hip hop is built on: street shit and the performance.
And you're absolutely right. So I want you to jump back in, but I want to go to the second reason why the Lox won, which is actually more has to do with what Dipset lost. Well, the Lox have stayed together.
Yeah.
And the chemistry, the stage presence, performance, or the united front was intact. And you can tell, quite frankly, the Dipset is fractured. Not really Dipset anymore. Doesn't get together. And all of these guys hadn't been really performing at all. And literally, if not for Cam being a top-notch MC and high-level performer, it's a blowout of like such epic proportions that it is ridiculous.
Cam saw how things were getting like totally out of hand, and Cam tried to put the whole situation on his back. It started to become Cam versus Jada.
No, that's what it was. Yeah. It was an admirable job. But like I told you, when I heard Jadakiss do "This Is Deep," I was like, problem. I was like, oh shit. I was like, we got a problem. Street's about to come out. And then the Who Shot Ya remix, and that was pretty much it, Mike. When he did the Who Shot Ya.
Dame 252 says, did y'all see that clip of Ghostface rapping over Girls beat? It's a shame because it was originally his. Yes, I saw that, and I also heard that the file name for that track was Ghostface, that Just Blaze made. And it was supposed to go to Ghost, and, you know, Jay heard it. Jay took it. Stretch the game out. Extra name out. Put Jigga on top. Yeah, but back to that versus though.
No, I mean that's what it was. That you know what it is. They hit you with the streets, and then they let you know that they had hits in the chamber too. That's what I mean. It was like
their hits are sneaky, and you're completely right about that.
It was like Joe Frazier in his prime. You know what I'm saying? It was like, no, you're gonna take this right hook, and then you're gonna take this left uppercut. You're on the canvas. On the canvas.
I'm not gonna make too many excuses about me being wrong, but I'm gonna say this. I was misinformed of how this thing was going to play out as far as like what verses had looked like before then, because even when you look at like Snoop and DMX, people were playing the music, they would groove into it or whatever. I didn't realize this was going to be a performance versus a performance. And like you said, Dipset, they're not performance ready. You could tell that the Lox perform all the time. And one of my guys who, runs around with them or whatnot, he was saying that they were doing some of the sets that they do in shows. And like you said about that chemistry and just having that showmanship, they do this.
Right.
And you could tell that. And I think the Dipset thought they were just going to come out there and play some songs.
So this is what I mean. We understated. Like, because the third reason that they won, stage performance, chemistry, unity. Mm-hmm. Like they had the streets, and we knew that they had the streets, but they kind of snuck us with their hits, individual solo remixes. Like they got Jenny from the Block. You feel me? You know what I mean?
I think the other part of it too that we're missing, they're just much better rappers too. And when you can actually execute on that performance wise, it's going to be a blowout.
But this is what I mean when I say we understated their hits. How many rappers are really walking around? It's like, yeah, I got joints with Mary and Mariah and J-Lo. Like, how many cats walking around like that that's rappers that got street shit, too, on top of it? Yeah. Like, where their street shit's actually their forte. So it was just a tour de force. And here's what I mean. Like, they were probably putting different segments of different shows that they've done. Hold on. Let's take the 3-4 song run from when we do this show and put that together and Kiss. Drop the remix, the Who Shot You bars, like, right there. And then we're going to do this part of that show. And that's like when a band is kind of together for 20, 25 years and it's time to go back on tour. It's like, hold on, what set we doing again? We doing the set from this tour or from that tour? Oh, fuck it. Let's do this, and have some fun. And that's what they did. And they just crushed them.
007's in the building. Shout out to 007. He says, when Jada did his verse on New York, it was officially the cherry on top. It wasn't even downfall. It became jumping off a cliff from there.
Dipset, I think Dipset, they may have won 7 songs. Like 4 or 5 of those were Cam, like Saving the Day.
Straight up,
they were about to lose like 17-3.
You heard about Flex giving Jewel Santana 7 days to drop a song, right?
I read stuff like that and then I don't pay attention to it.
Well, I don't know if the 7 days are up.
Like, where is that coming from? And why is he asking Jewels to, why?
Well, I think this is the thing, right? Since the Conway thing has kind of went the way it went and him going back and forth with Pete Rock, I think that Flex is using this opportunity to try to put a battery in the back of New York MCs so they could come out with some new stuff. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? But where the music at? Because that's one of the reasons why, and I know we got a real big New York following, love New York, but I think that's one of the reasons why the South has been able to do what it's been able to do in hip-hop, because some of the people up north be taking breaks, man. And shout out to Nas, because Nas is coming with the material. Heavy.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the greatest rapper.
New York's not really having the problem that people say that it is, because it's like, I hate to be the one to break it to you.
New York City.
Okay, so I have not just Nas, Mike, but AZ. Mm-hmm. AZ just dropped Do or Die 2 last year. Skyzoo just dropped All the Brilliant Things last year.
He did. I guess we're just focusing on the wrong ones, right?
What is he focused? That's what I'm saying. It's like maybe you're focused on the wrong thing, because like here, based in Atlanta, Georgia, we catch flack for giving like New York rap sometimes too much love in people's estimation.
Yeah.
And so it's like when he's saying like bring New York rap back, I'm like, man, I could have sworn that the Lox just made the best album of their career a couple of years ago too.
Well,
Could have sworn that just happened. Didn't that just happen? Did the Lox just make the best album of their career a couple
do
of
you
years ago?
think Santana is due for new music? Yes, I agree with you on that.
Okay.
Do you think Santana's due for new music though?
I mean, how long has he been home from jail? About a year? It's been almost a year since he's been back.
Well, I mean, it was a year since the verses, so it's probably a little bit longer than that. And I was gonna allude to the fact that even in that verses, you could tell that he just wasn't used to being back on stage yet. They didn't prep him for that.
Well, I mean, they're not together. There's no unity. I mean, he probably could probably use some real management right now. You know what I'm saying?
The L Web says the best of me with Kiss is much better than the remix with Jay, in my opinion. I've heard that take before. I disagree 100%. What were you gonna say?
You disagree?
I disagree 100%.
Can I tell you the truth?
Carolina Blue Kicks, hottest nigga on the block, used to wheelie bicycle since I was 6. Nah.
No, I mean, I feel you. I mean, to be honest with you, I like the actual beat and the flow and the feel of the original one.
I've heard that before. No, I've heard people say that before. And,
I do. I think
you know what? As far as the beat and all that,
like if you want to say Jay has the better verse,
yeah,
like Jay has the better verse than Kiss does. It's not a better song. That's my thing. So when people talk about it, it's like, okay, but give me the better record. But for Maya, a win is a win is a win because that's 2 wins. That's 2 big W's for Maya.
Yeah, but you know for Jada, that wasn't a win. Unfortunately, that was a song that could have actually been really big for him, and then it got overshadowed by this remix. There really
that was the thing about it.
Happen.
Okay, so can I tell you what?
Go ahead.
I didn't have a problem with Best of Me because Best of Me had an actual video and got real burn and airtime, I'd say, for about 2 or 3 months before the remix dropped.
So they gave it some time to bubble.
They gave it some time. Now, what I had a problem with was the Fiesta fiasco because the original Fiesta with Kiss didn't get a video. And I felt like he had a better verse than Jay. So I felt like the Fiesta thing was more of a problem.
Damn, Jay was chasing him down. Jay Short with the super chat.
Like he was trying to keep Kiss from ascending to a certain place. Like Jay was trying to keep Kiss down. Yeah.
Jay Short with the super chat says, the verses makes me more disappointed in the Lox career. I've never seen it, seems to come together like that on their albums. They should be in the top 5 of groups. I do think that when we look at the individual potential of the Lox as a whole, I don't think their group albums have lived up to that, even though the album they put out in 2020, to me, was their best work as a group, which just kind of, just shows you how dope that they have become over time individually and how much of a unit they've stayed over the past 20 years.
Well, here's also what I would tell you is that, okay, so what do you think about Money, Power, Respect, the album? What do you think? That's a 3.5 to you?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I honestly haven't heard it since like 97, 98.
I remember the highs are high, but the lows were kind of low. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't live up to who they were supposed to be. Let's just be real.
Right. But I felt like there's about 5 to 7 joints on there where it's like, oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I probably give it today about a 3.5. I think We Are the Streets is a 4.
Yeah. Slightly better, but similar issues.
I felt like We Are the Streets was too long. I felt like they could have cut about 3 or 4 songs out and had a much better album.
I thought that album was very... But they got some
stuff on there, like Breathe Easy might be my favorite Lox joint. We're gonna RUFFRYDE revolver, semi-automatic in the PG, hoopty, getaway driver, breathe easy.
Yeah. But as a collective though, crazy. How well do you think that album aged? Because I feel like production-wise, which isn't their fault, there was a lot of trendy things going on.
You're talking about Swiss.
I'm not a big Swiss fan. I'm just not.
Swiss did too much. You just know.
I'm just not.
No, they with all that, Mike. Just say it.
I'm gonna just say it. Listen.
Beats on there, and you don't like the fact that Swiss did too many beats on there.
I feel the same way about Flesh of My Flesh.
Flesh of My Flesh and Blood of My Blood.
It's just And again, this is nothing against Swiss personally. I'm just not a fan of his production style. I'm not.
But his best actual hip hop beat stuff is on Flesh of My Flesh and on We Are the Streets.
He
That's
hits
what I'm
sometimes,
saying. Like
but
Breathe Easy. Hold on, actually, I think PK did Breathe Easy.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can tell. Like Swiss can't do that. Fuck You is Swiss. You don't like Fuck You? That's one of Kiss's best verses. You heard LOX came through in the yellow Lex and hopped out with the Air Force Ones with yellow checks. Yeah.
DJ Bruce Almighty says, better solo albums, Bun B or Big Boy? I might be a little bit more partial to Big Boy's solo efforts.
Draw. I say tie.
Because you know what? When it comes to Big Boy, you know you're going to get the musicality that you've gotten from Outcast efforts. Big Boy, my only thing with Big Boy solo, I just wish he would rap more. Like, you'll get, Big Boy would do songs with like 2 verses. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's get 3-verse song. Or what Big Boy would do too is he'll have Killer Mike on a bunch of songs. It's like, nah, man, I like just hearing Big Boy. Like, even though West Savannah's only 2 verses, Big Boy has proven that he can make a very enjoyable song when it's just him.
West Savannah's, you know how I feel about West Savannah. West Savannah's like a top 5 song on Equimini to me. It's a personal favorite.
Wow.
Yeah.
High praise.
I never told you that? Yeah, I think West Savannah's one of the 5 best songs on Equimini, and you know I think Equimini's a top 5 rap album, like ever. Yeah.
I love West Savannah. I got to think about that top 5.
How about this? That's the song that made me a really Big Boy fan. I was riding around to that. Yeah, that was my thing. Yeah.
I was just listening to Gangsta Partner. It was on the Hoodlum soundtrack. The Cool Breeze record featuring Big
Cool
Boy.
Breeze.
Yeah, I love
That's
Cool Breeze. Cool Breeze is my guy, man. Shout out to Cool Breeze out there. I would love for him to come on the show. Hey. But what I was thinking, man, like, okay, Big Boy's on there. And then I think about Slump. Okay, Cool Breeze is on there. Dre's not on there. And then I think about Decatur Song. Cool Breeze is on there. Dre isn't on there. Dirty South, Cool Breeze, Big Boy. I'm like, yo, why does Dre keep missing Cool Breeze on these records? Has he ever rapped with Cool Breeze outside of Watch for the Hook? Because that really don't even count. Everybody's on there.
Not really, but I was actually about to tell you, you just highlighted some of first of all, you're the first person that I've met that loves Cool Breeze more than I do. That's one. And 2, you just highlighted some of his like best stuff. Like his verse on Slump, that might be my favorite. That might be my favorite verse from Breeze.
I don't know.
What do you say? Me and my buddy up in the corner. Me and my partner on the corner, and we serving them things. We better watch what we doing. Look out for Joe Nad.
Quit reeing up and standing on that same old block before a gangsta ass partner get both of
us shot. Niggas talking because they making some flow.
Still ain't been nothing
but ain't been done before. You can't be showcasing just trying to put it down for your spot. And improvise and work with that little you got. So I think when I finish selling my last sack, I'm going to give some of this money. I'm going to take some of this money and go and give some back.
People won't forget about the time you gave. You know what I'm saying? Start thinking about a path to pay.
Yeah. No, Breeze can rap.
No, that's what I'm saying. You know what? I might be more partial to his part on Dirty South, man. He took that shit somewhere else.
That's probably, but that's the first time hearing Breeze, though, too. So that's your first time hearing Breeze, though, too. So it's kind of like the shock value of it, too. That's what I'm saying. It's like you had heard Breeze by the time Equimini came out, and that verse kind of stayed with me. It's like, oh, I'm like, look at Breeze. Because, you know, 13's like one of my favorite like rap songs ever.
When I got grown, that's some Pee Wee Sacks have been and took this town. See, life's a bitch, then you figure out why you really got dropped in the Dirty South. See, in the 3rd grade, this is what she told. You was bought. You was sold. Now they saying Juice let some heads crack. I bet you Jen clamping on his money back.
Hold on, so stop for a second.
Go ahead.
When he's saying, I bet you, they saying Juice let some heads crack, he's talking about OJ and the murders. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people don't know, you know what I mean? Because it's revisionist. But you want to know, here's how I felt about Cool Breeze on Dirty South. It's like, yeah, that's a great moment, but that song is filled with great moments.
It is.
First of all, the hook is epic. Okay?
Gip
like
is epic.
and CeeLo is epic on there. Big Boy
Yeah.
on there. Like, you just got done hearing Dre snap, and you're like, what Big Boy going to do? Well, if Pimpin' be a sports, see, I be being that wide receiver. The nigga to be IG, but make y'all niggas believe it. Sipping a Quavo go off in the club, drunk as fuck, calling them hoes bitches and smoking my weed up. Now I'm too sober, year older. Now I'm almost legal. Wanted to live the life of Cadillacs and Polos and Regals. Fucking around with hoes, busting nuts in their mouth, kicking that same southern slang, looking for love off in your jaw, ho.
Powder
Like,
get you
that's why I don't remember
Reefer
Breeze
makes
shit
you
like that, because
calm.
Big Boy was doing shit like that. And Gip shit on there is fire. Gip
went crazy on
Barry
there.
Hearn and home to all the homes. Adamsville, Food Creek, shit just don't sleep.
The L Web with the super chat
going
says
down the Swats and through East Point.
Incredible. I love that video too.
Yeah.
The L Web 100 with the super chat says Swiss always been overrated to me. Dame Grease was much better on X albums. Yeah, you know, Swiss got a lot of credit for that first X album, and Dame Grease is the one. And maybe that's why I'm not that big on Swiss like that, as much as I love the Rough Riders anthem. Huh?
It's because PK and Dame are just superior.
I think so too. And I heard what they were able to do with DMX. I heard stuff like Stop Being Greedy. I heard stuff like Get At Me Dog. I heard How's It Going Down. And I'm like, yeah, these keyboard beats just ain't doing it for me. Andrea Green with the super chat. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but here's what really happened, and let's kind of like stay with the Rough Riders thing. I know we went like down here to the Swats in East Point with Breeze and the Dungeon Family for a quick. Let's get back to the Rough Riders camp for a second. Like, with the whole Swiss Beats thing. Well, the only reason that any of that happened is because Rough Riders Anthem became the crossover hit on It's Dark and Hell is Hot, even over how it's going down. And so Swiss started getting placements that actually should have went to PK and Dame, because they're the ones that really built out It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Mike, I think It's Dark and Hell is Hot is better than Reasonable Doubt. That's how great It's Dark and Hell is Hot is to me. Like, if I was putting it, like,
I think so too. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I'm a big Jay fan. I'm a big Reasonable Doubt fan. I think Reasonable Doubt is Jay-Z's best album. My favorite album from it. Yeah, I think It's Dark and Hell is Hot is better. It has more depth. I think that from beginning to end, the production is not even close. When you talk about the story, when you talk about the performance, It's Dark and Hell is Hot is a special moment. It could be argued. It's hard to argue many albums ahead of it. I mean, because really at the end of the day, the only thing you can say from a hip-hop standpoint, okay, this album's more lyrical. But if you talk about everything that an album brought, with the crossover hits, you talk about the storytelling, you talk about the energy, you talk about the depth, you talk about the game-changing side of it. You talk about the features on it. You're right.
Yeah.
No, Reasonable Doubt didn't change the game. It did.
It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Sure as hell did.
It shook shit up.
Immediately.
Andrea Green with the super chat says, went to Kendrick's show last night in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center. He's one of the best live performers in hip-hop. Coop should have pulled up. So you enjoyed the show. I love that. I want to get some more feedback. Anybody else seen Kendrick's tour so far? I would love to hear what people think about it. Darren Harris with the super chat.
Boulevard and Beatty's Ford. LaSalle, Southwest Boulevard, Rosell's Ferry, West Side.
Darren Harris with the super chat says, which Lox member had the best collabo album? Freddie versus Jason, Beloved, Styles P and Dave East, Woo Block, Sheik and Ghost. P.S. Don't sleep on Beloved. It was a fire album. I might go with Beloved, to be honest with you.
I was actually thinking that was the best one, so nobody's sleeping. When he said that, I was thinking that's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that year, Styles dropped like 3 albums.
let's stay on this Lox thing, because actually when I was thinking, We Are the Streets might be better than we're giving it credit for. When you're asking how this held up, like, first of all, I remember it being too long because it had too many skits. And so let's go to how many records on the original version, because they got a condensed version down. There's 18 tracks on here originally. So let's take the skits out. 1 in the intro, which is a skit 2 that I didn't care for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if you take the 4 skits out, you got 14 records. You want to run down these 14 records right quick? Because I think this album might be better than we're giving it credit for. Because you're asking how these songs are holding up, right? Fuck You.
Yeah.
I'd say that's holding up well.
Yeah.
Can I Live?
I like Can I Live.
Me too. Breathe Easy.
I like Breathe Easy.
Felony Niggas, the style solo.
Yeah.
Felony niggas. Who will such 70 niggas, you know? Yeah. Wild Out? I didn't love Wild
I
Out.
didn't love Wild Out. How many of those records did they do with the verses that you remember? Just
Shit,
off
I
top.
don't. Their catalog is stupid.
Right.
Like just period. Like their song making is stupid. Blood Pressure, the Kiss solo.
Yeah.
I thought it was dope. I thought it could have been better, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Recognize, the Primo joint.
I like Recognize.
Y'all fucked up now. This is the first one I felt like you could have kept.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep that. Scream Locks, you can keep that. You told me, Eve. Yeah. Yeah. Ride or Die, bitch. We're keeping it. No, we're keeping that. We're keeping that. That's a banger.
I guess.
It's a banger, man.
I mean, when you think about the fact that Timbaland made it during that period, that's a B-list. That's a B-list Timbaland track. Let's be perfectly honest.
How about this? I don't think they do well on A-list Timbaland beats. I think that beat was made intentionally for them. Okay. They didn't want nothing too bright and shiny from Timbaland, is what I'm saying. Okay. I think that was intentional to keep their brand alive. We are the streets.
Yeah.
They're not with Puff anymore. They can't be too shiny.
I was gonna say, I think that they really attempted to double down on that whole "we're not shiny suit locks anymore."
So is the beat selection. But even Kiss's, yeah, what's up, Ma? You know, Kiss, nigga with the hot flow in the cold. No, he's nice on there. No. We're keeping that. Keeping that. The chicks like the record. We got to give the ladies something from the locks, Mike.
No, that's real.
You got to think about the ladies sometimes, Mike.
Especially in that period. That was what, 2000?
Yeah. If you know, even Dragon, you could have kept that actually. Yeah. In my opinion. We Are the Streets, the record. I actually like We Are the Streets.
I like We Are the Streets.
No, we ain't fucking with them no more because we rep. This is a dope ass album, is what I'm saying.
I mean, it could have been doper though. You know what I mean? Knowing the talents that we know of Jada, Styles, and Sheep.
Well, listen to what I'm saying. About 10 of, like, if I'm not mistaken, we just said 10 of these 14 records are pretty fucking dope. That's usually like 14.
I thought we said maybe like 5 could have been kept.
Hold on, let's go to the ones that we said. Like, are you keeping Wild Out, or are we taking it off?
I mean, it's the single. I mean, right. I don't love it, but you know what? I would take it out.
I would actually too.
Yeah.
I would actually. Yeah. I'm cool with taking it out. I would actually have dropped Breathe Easy. Yeah. That's just me. I'm a different type of dude. I actually believe Biggie could have dropped Machine Gun Funk and still went platinum. Instead of Juicy. I don't believe that. Which now I officially can't listen to anymore. You know, Juicy has come on 3 times since we've had the show, and I haven't been able to listen to it.
Listen. I do, and I know people were saying in our comment section from that piece when we were talking about the Notorious B.I.G., it is noteworthy that the Notorious B.I.G. was in the Unsigned Hype article of 1992. So they did have his name in the Source magazine as Notorious B.I.G. in 1992. So maybe it's a big coincidence on that. You know what could have possibly happened? He could have possibly had that name, and let's just say that somebody in the business came across this tape. Possibly they saw somebody with a similar name, heard the track. Let's run with an idea like this. I got an idea.
You mean like an A&R for a major record label who just got fired because he's being too ambitious and trying to start his own label? You mean somebody like that? Okay, possibly. So back to this Locks thing. It all ties back to this Locks thing. Same guy. Hold on.
Let me get to some of these super chats real quick. Jay Short says, Rough Riders had the Locks, Eve, DMX, and Dragon, all-time talents. And we got one classic album, which was the first, Impossible. So you're saying they're underachievers?
So this is what I'm saying. So hold on. So let's go back to this whole We Are the Streets thing. So we're taking Wild out. Okay? So that's one. We're
Unknown Name says Love out, right? We Are the Streets. I'm sorry. Unknown Name says Love We Are the Streets. Appreciate the super chat.
So we got 2 out. Scream Locks, we're taking that out. That's 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
You Told Me featuring Eve. Are we keeping that?
No.
I'm 50-50 on that too. We can take it out. So that's 4 that we're taking out. We're keeping Ride or Die, bitch. Because we took Wild Out.
Yeah, people say that's a bop, man. They love it.
Huh?
I'm seeing people in the chat say they love Ride or Die Bitch. They say
Yeah, it's dope, Mike. It's a dope record. Bring It On.
I like Bring It
Yay,
On.
nay.
Yeah, you can stay.
Yeah, I'm cool. I like Bring It On.
Yeah.
If You Know. No. So that's 5. So we're taking 5 of the 14. So 9 of the 14 songs are dope. So what is that? That's about a 4, right?
I guess so. But see, the stuff isn't like so outstanding. Like when they did None of Y'all Better on Kiss the Game Goodbye. Now that's a standout. And they have the ability to make 10 of those.
So can I tell you the album that I really think we're underrating it was too long? That's the one. Kiss the Game Goodbye.
Yeah. Now,
Kiss the Game Goodbye has songs that have held up extremely well. Show Discipline with Nas.
Yep. No, I agree.
Make it.
I don't really know what the expectations were for
Put Your Hands
Up's
dope.
Goodbye.
Put Your Hands Up's held up well.
I love Put Your Hands Up. I love doing the drop. Before Siegel came through and destroyed it.
I thought Feel Me might have been the best joint on the album, the original Feel Me.
Mm-hmm.
With DMX. Shit. Bangers on Kiss the Game Goodbye. We ain't even talking about Knock Yourself Out.
I love Knock Yourself Out. I play that from time.
I love Knock Yourself Out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how to do my. What do you say? The first nigga to cook bass on a Foreman grill.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. LP with the super chat says Sheik stole the show, in my opinion. Shout out to Sheik, man. Sheik
nice coming out party on We Are the Streets. Yeah, I just wanted to give the Locks some love. It's like they're when you put these albums together, like the Living Off Experience album, so they got a 3.5, a 4, and like a 4.25. If you were to average that out and then go to the other stuff, no, they average making about a 4, but you got 2 of probably the 25 greatest MCs of all time. So you're like, where are my 5s at?
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they're not great. And they have 5 material songs. They prove that in the verses.
Well, what do you think about what Jay Short said with all of that talent that they were able to just come with one classic album? I mean, some people might think that there were multiple classics, but just hands down classic. I think that It's Dark and Hell is Hot is the one. I think that I think Eve put together a quality album with the First Lady.
No, so actually what I was about to say is like, well, let's do a little, hold on, let me go under my Locks and Dipset notes. Let's do a little catalog run right quick. So we have It's Dark and Hell is Hot. That's a classic. But let's not act like this didn't make some dope ass music. Yeah. Eve album is a dope album. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We Are the Streets is a dope album.
It's a dope
Rough Riders Volume 1 is a dope album.
That is a very dope album.
Yes, it is. So is Flesh of My Flesh and Blood of My Blood. So it's like you don't have any classics, but you have 3 4s and above. We have 4 4s and above that I just named right there. Like I would give Flesh of My Flesh and the Rough Riders Volume 1 4.5. I would give Even We Are the Streets a 4.
Yeah, definitely.
And so they got 5. They got 5 dope ass albums out of that period coming out of that.
What did you say? What did you say? 4.5. Hold on. What did you say? 4.5.
Flesh of My Flesh and the Rough Riders Volume 1.
That Rough Riders Volume 1 is tough. I might go 4.25.
X's record on there, the last record on there.
Yeah.
Some X shit.
Yeah, some X shit was crazy.
Kiss's solo on the Rough Riders joint is better than his solo on We Are the Streets.
No, man, what is it? Dope Money? That record is crazy. That's Sheik and Styles going back and forth for real. Like, that's what I want to hear more of. Like, you cannot beat when Sheik and Styles are going back and forth. That was one of the best parts of the whole D Block G Unit thing. When Sheik and Styles go back and forth, I mean, you could just shut everything down, man. Like, come on, man. LP with the super chat says, Rough Riders had more artists go gold and platinum outside their main stars than Rockefeller did. Only Kanye and Cam. He said only Kanye and Cam sold records outside of Jay.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, well, so let's look at it like this.
I want to talk about Jay in a minute too.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. So this is what I mean. Usually get 5 great. Usually get 5 great albums. Mm-hmm. It just all depends on how great those albums are gonna be. And here's how people look at it. Well, Death Row, they got The Chronic, Doggy Style, Dog Food, All Eyes on Me. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's just
do you want to give them above the rim
too? Huh?
You want to give them above the rim too? That was on Death Row.
We give them above the rim and make it 5. That would be the thumb. Let's go to Wu-Tang Clan's original run. What is it?
36.
It's Enter the Wu-Tang. It's the Purple Tape. It's Liquid Swords. It's Iron Man. And Supreme. Those are the ones that are considered, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I'm going dirty version. I'm going dirty version too.
We can go, hold on, but what I'm saying is, okay, so Wu-Tang is different, but even Wu-Tang's like different. Peak, you usually get 5. You're going to get 5 dope albums out the camp. So is Rough Riders, 5 albums comparable to Death Row or Wu-Tang? It's like, no, but that doesn't mean there's not great shit everywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree.
LP so let's not say that they didn't do a good job. No, I can still play stuff from Flesh of My Flesh. Blackout's one of the best posse cuts ever.
LP says Juvie and Drag had one of the best songs on there. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the songs of the year. I remember when that shit dropped, everybody was like, that was the joint.
I'm going to be honest with you. You want to talk about some like actual single bangers to start off an album? That album goes Down Bottom, What Y'all Want, Jigga, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Can you say hit?
No, for real.
Home run.
Legit hits, too.
No, legit home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Those songs, all 3 of those songs played the entirety of the summer on the radio. All 3.
They did. Speaking of Jigga.
Rough Riders Volume 1. Matter of fact, if I was ranking it, wouldn't you say Rough Riders Volume 1 is the second best album to come out of that camp after It's Dark and Hell is Hot?
I think so.
Yeah,
it was so good that they tricked me into buying Volume 2.
I didn't do that. I knew it wasn't going to happen again.
Purchase that I ever made in the CD era. I was so disappointed. I tried to make myself like that album. I've probably told this story 5 or 6 times on this podcast since we've been in existence. Y'all owe me a CD, D and Y. Y'all do, man.
You still want
anyway, I want to talk about Jigga real quick, unless you have some more things to say.
No. I think we've gotten our locks.
Yeah.
Dipset, Rough Riders.
We've given them their due.
Nice little rabbit hole.
Okay.
Let's go.
Well, Young Guru tweeted out the other day, what was that? The first of the month, that was like 2 days ago. Hov is the greatest of all time. This can't be debated anymore. 3 exclamation marks. And so that actually was posted the same day. The DJ Khaled posted a picture of Jay-Z saying, Hov did. Hov vocals in. Wow. All the emojis. Wow. Hov did. Hashtag God did. Is he calling? Never mind. Album coming soon. All right. So are we gonna be expecting verse of the year stuff from this? Is there any way in 2022 that Jay-Z can give us verse of the year? Because the way these guys are talking, like, sounds like greatest of all time. This can't be debated anymore. Okay. When we talk about can't be debated anymore, let's break this down. He's talking about Nas. What else are we debating?
Let's talk about the verse. Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want you to finish that part.
No, I was just going to say, when you say can't be debated anymore, you're only talking about Nas. There's nobody else that there was a debate for it anyway, right? Because you're not talking about people who are no longer here because they're not active anymore. That debate should have been gone. And one verse from Khaled's not going to change any of that. You know what I mean? So when you say can't be debated anymore, I don't want to sound like I'm looking too far into this, but you're talking about Nas. And I'm sorry. This has to be one great verse to overtake Magic and KD 2. It better be verse of the year talking like that.
Let's unpack a couple of things.
Go ahead. Thumbs up in the chat, y'all.
I think both you and I objectively tend to have our 1, 2, and 3 all time the same, which is Nas, Jay-Z, Rakim. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, the last 2 years, 2 of those 3 have received verse of the year. Correct?
I would say so.
So if you're asking me, first of all, I'm just getting now a notification from YouTube that our show's on. That's nice.
We got 300 plus people in here. Hopefully we get some more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's 300 and plus 1 now. Apparently I'm in the room now. All right. It's nice to get a notification. We have to talk about this. This is problematic.
An hour in.
But so if you feel like so just out of the credence of what we've seen happen, yes, he can have verse of the year because the
on a DJ Khaled project. This ain't DJ Clue.
And the echelon. No, listen to what I'm saying.
This ain't DJ Clue.
The category and the echelon that he's in has an MC because Rakim did it on Busta Rhymes' album, right? And we hadn't even heard a Rakim verse in years. It felt like, at least, you feel me?
Right.
And so, because of the category and the echelon that he's in, you deserve a certain type of respect and deference in terms of your MCing capability, in terms of what you are capable of.
Yeah.
So is he capable of having verse of the year? Oh, well, hell yeah, because Nas just had verse of the year, and right before that, Rakim did, and that's the category of all-time great MCing that he has held in the highest esteemed regard in. So
that is 100% fair.
Yes. Is there evidence of any sort of recency to say that? No.
It's not.
And so when Guru is saying this, it's like, I hate to say it, it's like all you dudes who are being paid by Jay need to be quiet and let Jay do the work, because at this point you're making Jay look bad when you come out and say stuff like this, respectfully.
Guru jumped out the window too when Jay put his verse down on Kanye's Jail song, right? He was like, just turn this in at 4 p.m. and you remember that? It was a whole thing about he turned it in the day of the listening event that you went to, and it's like Jay don't need that kind of hype, man. His skill set stands on its own. We don't need that.
I'm gonna tell you something that one of our most faithful, contentious, and intelligent followers, Leroy Green, shared with me in our YouTube comments a couple months back. Stop comparing. He's talking about us. He was like, every time y'all talk about Nas, y'all don't have to talk about Jay. It's actually a disservice to Nas. Nas can stand on his own. And I hit Leroy back and I was like, yo, Leroy, you're actually right. You have a very valid point. Part of the point that I've been making is that it stands on its own. I don't have to juxtapose it against what Jay does or does not do all the time. And I've been making a concerted effort to do that since then, because I'm not above reproach about anything. There are plenty of things that we can improve on as podcasters, commentators, journalists. It's always an open sphere. I'm always open to somebody else's train of thought.
Exactly.
Now, with that being said, the same thing applies to Jay, and too much of what I've seen since Nas has been on this run is the people that Jay gave hype to giving him the hype back. And it's like, nah, fam. He don't need it. You making him look bad by doing that. Because here's the thing. We only know who Guru is because Jay shouted you out because of who he is. Mm-hmm. Jay don't need no shout out from you. We don't even know who you are if Jay don't shout you out and give you your props for your skills. We don't even respect you like that if Jay don't say that. And I'm just saying that because it's what it is, not disrespectfully. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And so these dudes is running around shouting him out like this and giving him all his props. They need to be quiet.
Just
and let him go to fucking work. Because here's the thing about it. Mike, I told you it was a conversation after KD won because I was being fair. It's like, no, it's still a conversation. This ain't no classic.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like KD 2 and Magic dropped, and I was just like, Mike, we can't. This ain't no conversation.
No, I said that, and for the people who might not be aware, when we started this podcast 2 years ago, in the height of the pandemic and all that stuff, I was like, look, Jay's catalog is just too vast. I had Jay ahead of Nas. KD won. That kind of came as a surprise, and I'm like, okay, well, here we go. Then KD,
we were equally surprised.
Yeah,
you and I both were like, oh, hold on, you heard this?
And then I'm sitting here putting it with Nasir too, because I'm not as low on Nasir as a lot of people are. And I'm like, okay, man, Nas is putting in work. And then when KD 2 dropped, I'm like, yeah, man, Jay need to drop something. And then when Magic dropped, I'm like, nah, I can't fight this anymore. Nas is the greatest ever. He earned that spot. It is what it is, man. What Jay say? Start off fast, now you're wheezing in the back. LP with the super chat says, if Jay dropped Magic, they'd say it was better than MJ.
Hold on.
They would say it's his Thriller, yeah. I would imagine.
No, I mean, if he dropped Magic, we would be doing the same thing that we did with Nas. It's like, oh, is this... Is this better than Reasonable Doubt or The Blueprint or the Black Album?
The last time we did that with Jay,
it'd be getting the same type of burn because that's what we've done. I mean, think about it. A lot of people have Magic in their top 5 Nas catalog, and I told you if it holds well, like yeah.
I feel like the last time we did that with Jay is with American Gangster, and I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Oh,
I don't think that the media really got behind American Gangster like that.
I know
it was a long time ago, but I remember mainstream media getting behind the Blueprint 3 like that, and not so much American Gangster.
I enjoy both of those albums immensely.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, but American Gangster, I don't think it's the classic that a lot of you all think it is, but I do think his last real, like, truly, like, breathtaking MC moments can be found there.
I don't think it's a classic either, no. But it's really good.
No, it's really good, and so is the Blueprint 3.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the MC is better on American Gangster, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I think the production overall, to me, I like the production better on American Gangster. Now, I could see somebody making an argument for either side of that, but I think that just for what Jay does best, I think production-wise was highlighted more so on American Gangster, in my opinion.
Okay, that's a fair way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I can agree with you on that. And so,
like I said, on Blueprint 3, I felt like he was chasing a lot, man. I really do.
That's what I mean. Production-wise, he was looking for stuff on the Blueprint 3. On American Gangster, it feels like he let the stuff come to him. Like the stuff like Sweet and Rock Boys feel natural, feel organic.
Very. Reggie with the super chat says Jay-Z is going to get docked a full point off the rip of the anticipated Khaled ad-libs that will be all over the project. Well, you know.
I think they're just talking about one song. Aren't we just talking about one song, probably?
Let's keep it a buck. I don't even think we're talking about one song. I'd be surprised if we're talking about a full song. I think we're talking about one verse. I don't see him giving... This ain't the DJ Clue days where we're going to get like a full Jay-Z song on some hardcore shit on a DJ Khaled album. DJ Khaled's projects are full of high-profile collaborations. Friday, he has one dropping with Lil Baby and Drake, right? Ain't no telling who he's going to put on this record with Jay. I doubt that we're going to get a full 3-verse Jay-Z record that is going to be one of those game changers for us. It's going to be something that Khaled can put on the radio, I would imagine. I could be wrong, but I just don't see that. I just don't. It's not like we're going to get what we got from the Jay Electronica album on a Khaled album. It's not going to be that. LP with the super chat says, Guru, Quest, and Ninth live in the Hyperball 24/7. Listen, anybody, I've been told this, and I don't know how accurate this is.
Oh,
hyperbole. Anybody who
hyperbole.
I'm sorry. The Hyperbole 24/7. Anybody who refers to Jay as Hove is probably on payroll. I've been told that. I don't know.
I mean, it's not even that. It's like,
or wants to be on payroll.
Okay, how about this? Here's what Guru has to understand. Like, that's like Jungle coming out. It's like Jungle comes out and drops a tweet, and it's like, Nasty Nas is the illest MC who ever lived. It's not even debatable. It's like, that's your big brother.
Of course. But I think the thing is...
Who else do you have? Surprise us. Like it would have been different if Guru would have been like, yo, Ice Cube is the illest nigga who ever did it. And it's not a question. It's be like, damn, that's Jay-Z's engineer saying Ice Cube is the illest. We should talk about that. He's not saying that. Stop that.
Well, I mean, let me go back to it.
So high. He's up so high you don't have to do this.
Hov is the greatest of all time. This can't be debated anymore. So it's like, okay, who's debating it and what are we debating it based on? I mean, I saw some people in the comments talking about Jay's run, and his strongest run was from 96 to 2003. And everything after that was kind of, hit or miss. Do you subscribe to that?
96 to 2003. When's the Black Album? Is that what he's talking about?
That's 2003.
I think we might be being overly critical because I think other artists have had runs like that where it just hasn't been the same afterwards.
I would say
Like,
98 to 03 if we're being fair. Now, obviously, he put out quality material in 96 and 97, but if we're talking about a run, you know what I mean?
no, I feel like 96 and 90. How about this? Okay, so when people talk about, Michael Jordan's run,
Mm-hmm.
they always talk about the finals run in the 6 for 6. But the run actually, I mean, for me, it actually starts with those two conference finals appearances versus the Pistons first.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Jordan,
And that's
80,
what Reasonable
88
Doubt
Jordan's
and
legendary.
Volume 1 are.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
So, like, no, 96 and 97 are part of the run, even if they're not championship seasons. You feel me?
I got you.
It's like, no, he went home a little bit sooner than he should have, but you could see he was there.
Yeah, the talent is there.
Hold on 1 second, Mike.
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, this sounds out of touch. Kids don't listen to Khaled anymore. Jay just needs to steal the sound from EPMD, Spicy, YKTV, and call it a day. People will praise it and no one will remember it in 5 to 10 years. Wow. Let me get to another one of these super chats real quick. Nas the GOAT says, who has more classic albums, Nas or Jay? No bias. Well, we're going to have to say how many classics does Jay have and how many Nas has. I think that when we look at Jay's classics, I got 3. I got Reasonable Doubt, I got the Black Album, and I got Blueprint. When we talk about Nas classic albums, I guess we're going to go Illmatic. We're going to go It Was Written or Y'all Would Kill Me, Stillmatic, and then maybe Lost Tapes. Lost Tapes a classic, Coop?
Yeah, let's stay to the Jay thing and not veer too far.
Well, somebody, Nas the GOAT asked who had more classics, Jay or Nas. So
it's Nas at this stage. But
yeah, and I think even if I don't feel like certain things are quote unquote classic, if we were to go by the barometer we just did on the Rough Riders, I think Nas is going to have more albums that are in that 4.5 range than Jay would have, because he just got so much now. I mean, even if it's too early to say KD2 and Magic are classics, they're at least 4.5 or 5. You know what I mean? If we're rating
exactly. So this okay. So let's say this. It's like, you want to know what, and this is what I mean when I'm saying, like, no, Jay's of the highest order. So to quote Nas on one of my top 5 Nas songs, MCs are crawling out every hole in the slum. You be all right, like blood money and a pimp's cum. He's saying, like, this shit harder than you really realize it is. Most of you dudes are not going to be okay. So when you're saying, and people are asking, well, who has more classics, Nas or Jay? It's like, well, technically, it's not Nas over Jay. It's Nas over everybody else in that stratosphere, too. That's why he's essentially at number 1 at this point. It's because who has this many 4.5s, and 5s? That's really where we're at, because you can literally go about, I mean, I don't care what people say. Somewhere between God's Son and Life is Good, that's probably his 7th or 8th best album at this point. You feel me? Well, nobody has it like that. Nobody has a Life is Good or God's Son that's like 7th or 8th on their catalog list. That's not a slight to Jay.
No. And again, and when Guru says it's not debatable anymore, like, okay, so who are we debating? So when that term even comes up, they're talking about Nas, right? And I think even if we break this thing down from eras, like, I think Nas in the 90s, just based on the fact that Nas came around in 94, 6, 8, whatever, I would probably give him the edge in the 90s. Is that fair? I mean, because he was dominating when Big and Pac was still alive, right? So I would kind of give him that edge in the 90s. And I think that his 90s work has possibly aged better slightly than Jay's has, right? Okay. And so the 2000s, I'm giving that to Jay, but the 2010s, that's Nas again.
No, I mean, that's apropos. So okay, this is what I'm saying. And I think this is the best way to contextualize it. if you take Illmatic off the board, Nas is still in the lead in this race. What does that say? Like, if you started from 96 and act like Illmatic didn't exist and run it till now, he's still in the lead. Do you understand that? I mean, like, if you just want to juxtapose it that way, let's start at 96 with Jay's first, with It Was Written, and run. Because, I mean, and Mike, I think you're starting to see this too. It Was Written is held up so remarkably. It's ridiculous. I wasn't expecting that for It Was Written. I don't think any of us were. And it's holding up production-wise better than Reasonable Doubt is. It is. And
see, now that one I'm going to disagree with you on. I like the production on Reasonable Doubt better. And I think Reasonable Doubt's a better album.
I think you like the highs better. I think the highs might like the evils, feeling it. It's like, yeah, like, how about this? I love me some Politics as Usual. Like, I love Politics
Can
as
I
Usual.
Live?
No, okay, so the Irv Gotti thing, like with that, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how much credit to give for that track. It's like, we know what he did with the beat. It wasn't a lot.
I don't want to get into the mechanics of it all. I mean, a lot of the stuff is loops anyway, but, you know, Can't Knock the Hustle is just a great song.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying It Was Written. Like, how about this? By like 2000, It Was Written was getting treated like it was like a 3.5 and Reasonable Doubt was a 5. And now it's looking like, oh, well, that's a 5 and that's a 5 too. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, we can start right there and run, because what you're going to find is that, well, Jay don't get much after 2003 off of Nas, really. Not much.
I think that's the thing, too, that we got to really look at. If we want to sit here and be critical, and we do this in sports all the time, when we talk about the all-time greats or whatnot, after the Black Album, you know, things are kind of murky. And I've said what I've said on this show, where I feel like in the 2000s, if Kanye West wasn't involved in a Jay-Z project, it was kind of some mid. Let's just be real. You know, I didn't even realize that Kanye West was one of the executive producers. It was Jay-Z and Kanye West, the executive producers of the Blueprint 3. Now, you know, if Jay-Z at that point gave Kanye West that executive producer credit, he damn near put that album together. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you look at how the album sounds, like when you hear, when I hear beat-wise and aesthetically, it's more in Ye's vision. Think about this. Like, one of my favorite records on there is Already Home. Well, that's Cudi on there. How
well,
Cudi
I mean, Kanye produced that, too.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, hold on. So, the track Haters, Run This Town.
Kanye produced that. He produced that as well. He produced Thank You along with No ID. I mean, it is what it is.
No, even some of the stuff that he didn't produce sound like he was helping with the selection, like the Real As It Gets joint with Jeezy. It's like, no, I feel like Ye was in the studio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the only project in the 2000s that Jay put out that was dope, where Kanye wasn't involved, was American Gangster.
Venus versus Mars. I feel like Ye's in the studio, like, no, do something different. Take your voice, you know what I mean? Put the bass all the way in your voice. And fuck with some futuristic shit. I can hear him telling Jay that, and Jay buying it. You know what I'm saying?
Because like, at that time, Kanye is the one that has the people. Like, he was the guy. I mean, that's why we got Watch the Throne.
He didn't have the people. He was the people.
Yeah. And that's why we got Watch the Throne, too, because Jay wanted to connect.
He literally was the people. Has an ass comment about how good the people sounds, and if he was making records like that consistently before Kanye.
Straight up, man. I mean, it's
straight up. Common.
We don't give Kanye enough credit for what he did for Jay's career in the 2000s. I know a lot of the times Just Blaze gets a lot of the props, as he should, because he's made some very strong records for Jay. But if we talk about the overall direction of projects, I think that he did just about as much work, if not more, for Jay in that era as he did with Common and Pusha T.
How about this? What if I were to tell you that he gave Jay more classic material than he even gave Common?
Of course he did.
And then
because it was over an extended period of time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He gave Common a classic quick. And then even with Finding Forever, boom, some more classic shit. And then after that, it was kind of...
If you were to make Common's greatest hits right now, I think like About half of them are produced by Kanye West.
Over a 2-album period. Ain't that crazy?
Over a 2-album period.
That's
Ain't that much? And the rest of the shit is like Dilla and Primo, and like 2 no ID tracks.
Right. You got I Used to Love Her.
Used to Love Her.
And shit, after that, you probably gonna go
Retrospect
Dilla.
for Life.
Yeah.
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 I Used to Love Her and Retrospect for Life with Lauryn Hill.
I agree. Yep. We should do that. We should make a
Common
greatest hits. Yeah, we should make
that.
Why hasn't Common had a greatest hits yet? And Eminem has 2. Well, he'll have 2 Friday.
Excellent segue.
All right, Eminem has a second greatest hits coming out, and here's the track list. I don't know if you can see the screen right now, but it looks like I think somebody either leaked the track list or something or whatever, but it appears that Godzilla, Lucky You, Lighters, Nat, Cinderella Man, Walk on Water featuring Beyonce, Rap God, Love the Way You Lie, Won't Back Down, Higher, Berserk, Not Afraid, from the D to the LBC featuring Snoop, Nowhere Fast, Fall, Phenomenal, Fastlane, Bad Meets Evil, You're Never Over, 3 a.m., Spacebound, Beautiful Monster, Venom, Crack a Bottle, Is This Love, 09, that's the 50 Cent unreleased song that people were saying is out there, River, that was the one that did a whole bunch of records with Ed Sheeran, and you got Survivor, I like Survival, Best Friend, Darkness, Kings Never Die featuring Gwen Stefani, No Love, Headlights, The King and I featuring CeeLo, and Farewell. What do you think about that track list for a greatest hits for a top 5 MC all time?
What'd you just say? I'm sorry. What?
Excuse me. A greatest hits for an MC that some people will refer to as a top 5 MC all time.
Well, if any... Okay. So... You remember when Rakim came out with the 18th letter?
Mm-hmm.
You remember how it came packaged with the greatest hits attached next to it?
Mm-hmm.
We really haven't gotten a Rakim greatest hit since then, have we?
Mm-mm.
You want to know why?
Because those are the greatest hits.
Well, because it's the greatest hits.
You know,
but also
you can't have a part 2 for greatest hits. They're the greatest hits, right?
Correct, but I kind of want you to answer some of your own questions. What do you tell me recently about how you feel about like when like outtakes and greatest hit CDs and all that shit starts popping up on an artist catalog?
Well, I heard this from a very well-respected music executive that record labels start putting out greatest hits albums on artists when they're finished. Eminem has 2. He's been finished twice. Again, we don't have a common greatest hits because they don't feel like he's finished.
I'm going to tell you.
We don't have a Kanye West greatest hits either.
Hold on. We don't have one and we won't be getting one anytime soon. Feel me?
Right.
We don't have a Ghostface greatest hits. We don't
they got
have
some
Nas
underground ones that be out there, but it ain't no official ones.
Yeah.
I think
official.
I think that when Nas was about to leave Columbia and go to Def Jam, they put out a greatest hits on him. But that's a label move. When somebody leaves the label, they do that too. But yeah.
So no. That was Nas pretty much telling them it's time to fulfill these album obligations to you guys because I'm sick of you. You're gonna take this lost tapes. You're gonna take these remixes. You're gonna take this Illmatic re-release, and you're gonna take this greatest hits.
Right.
Thank you and have a good day. Right. That's a business move. Like real greatest hits. Like when I'm hearing a greatest hits, and this is what hold on. This is what I mean about Rakim's greatest hits when the 18th letter came back out. It was actual greatest hits. Like, Mike, you just named songs. It's like I may know 7 of those songs. Like vaguely 7. And
for an artist that has sold more records than anybody in the genre. The man named with the super chat says, greatest mids of all time. Used to like M, but stop. Jay Short says, Jay did everything right. He had A+ features and producers. He got all the radio play, collabo albums with the 2 biggest stars in the world and the biggest R&B star of the last 30 years. And Nas is still right there.
No,
Says a
listen.
lot.
This is what a greatest hit sounds like. A greatest hit sounds like you know all the songs on there when you're all time great. We're going to go to Rakim's greatest hits list. It's 15 songs. Listen to these records.
Okay.
Like, because there's stuff missing. I want you to listen to these 15. I Know You Got Soul.
I've heard that.
Follow the Leader. Eric B. Can I interest you in Eric B. as president? Are you familiar with Eric B. as president?
I've heard it a couple times.
Can I submit to you maybe the Microphone Fiend? Are you familiar with Microphone Fiend?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard I Ain't No Joke?
I heard that song before.
What about Lyrics of Fury? Is this ringing a bell?
I've heard that one.
Mike, I believe this track gets referenced sometimes. It's called My Melody.
Okay.
There's this up. Know the Ledge. Okay. You know the star of Juice is, right? It's Tupac Shakur, right?
Know the Ledge.
You know they chose to do the leadoff single?
Well, I mean.
Right.
I remember when he performed that on In Living Color. Incredible.
Can I interest you in Move the Crowd? The actual, where he actually describes what it means to be an MC.
Yeah.
And how an MC should actually,
How can I move the crowd? First of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. I was just listening to Mighty Healthy today, and I'm just thinking about how many lines
people have taken
come from this man.
How many people have taken from all of these records because they're great hits?
Yeah.
All these records have been stolen from.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Have not all of these records
have been paid
from
homage to? Been paid homage to.
Listen, on Capital Punishment, what are they saying? Remember me, the one you got your idea from? Remember me, the one you got your technique from? Right, where does that come from? It comes from I Ain't No Joke.
It does.
We're going to keep on going. We're not done with this greatest hits. This is what a real greatest hit sound like. Remember Let the Rhythm Hit Him? You and I referenced Let the Rhythm Hit Him on here recently on many occasions. Type of mic performance that is. I believe we've been having a conversation about Mahogany in reference to how it inspired Nas on New York State of Mind very recently.
Yeah. Mahogany is important.
In the Ghetto. Can I interest you in the Ghetto? Some more swagger, Jack. You know how many niggas have taken some shit from In the Ghetto? This is what a greatest hits looks like. I'm not done yet.
Okay,
I'm not
keep
done.
it going.
Greatest hits isn't done. It's Casualties of War, Mike.
Ooh.
Punisher.
Yeah.
And then Paid in Full.
Now, if somebody who doesn't really follow hip-hop like that or wasn't around in that era, hadn't heard The Punisher or Casualties of War, I wouldn't be mad, right? But the rest of those records, those are standards, man. And somebody in the chat says, everybody can't be Rakim. How about you do this, man? Can you pull up Outcast's greatest hits and see if everybody's heard any of them songs?
It's a problem.
I'm just saying, I mean, because if that's what the greatest hits is, or if you want to pull up LL's greatest hits, I mean, since we're talking about solo artists.
You don't want to pull up L's greatest hits. You don't want to pull up L's greatest hits. Everybody taking the L.
Yeah.
2 L's.
2 L's.
Everybody taking 2 L's.
Let me go back to this track list, man.
Shit is ridiculous.
I mean, I've heard of Godzilla. I don't know how that record goes. I'm just going to be honest. All right. I would say the one record on here, what would you say the biggest, quote unquote, hit on this track list is?
I mean, Rap God was just the song that I was most familiar with, so I don't even know how to feel about that.
But that was about a challenge more so, and that was about the statement.
I don't think Rap God's a greatest hits level song.
It's not a good song. He's not even saying words on there. LP with a super chat says Nas and Jay can drop another greatest hits album just off of what they did after the first greatest hits album. Rakim didn't drop enough after his first greatest hits to have another one. Right, he kind of just sat down. Jay Short with the super chat says, Tim Ford Koopy, this album wasn't meant for listening or accuracy. It was meant to serve as a historical document.
No. You want to know it?
All right, let's go to the Outcast greatest hits if you got it up. Or LL, either one, whichever one you pulled up.
No, we going I was actually saying Outcast isn't fair because people are gonna say we're 2 and on 1, so we're gonna pull up LL shit.
Well, somebody also brought Tupac in the conversation too. I mean, if you want to bring up,
definitely don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's too much depth.
Okay, let's go. LL's greatest hits. I listen to this greatest hits all the time, so I kind of probably know this one off top.
I actually listen to this greatest hits all the time too, Mike. Hold on. So
he got 2 of them though.
I'm about to say he does. So let's go to want to do All World? Is that the one we're going off of?
Mm-hmm.
I remember like the little lime green CD is like lime greenish, yellow-ish kind of.
Right.
I Can't Live Without My Radio.
Oh, radio. Classic. Boom.
I'm pretty certain that it made Run from Run DMC rap different. How about that?
Yeah.
Rock the Bells, maybe.
I've heard Rock the Bells. I've heard that song.
I'm Bad.
I'm bad. Yeah.
Maybe I Need Love. You know the reason that R&B and hip hop records exist in a merger and in a fusion? The reason that rappers make love songs?
Yeah. It was the one that proved that it could actually work and be a big hit.
Yeah. How about Going Back to Cali?
Going Back to Cali. I'm not a big fan of the song, but it was a hit. And this is the
I am a
greatest
big
hit.
fan of the song, and I love Going Back to Cali.
Okay.
Always have.
I think at the time, if we want to be real about it, it was a very big risk sonically, and it worked.
No, I Need Love and I'm Going Back to Cali are hits, but they're risk at the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. He takes risks and he fucking wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Jack the Ripper.
Classic.
I think we all know how that went.
The baddest around.
Can I interest you in Jingling Baby?
Oh man.
Does Eminem have anything bigger than Jingling Baby?
I think Jingling Baby is over time, man. It might have become my favorite LL record.
Love Jingling Baby.
Uncle
Let me see
L,
your earrings.
Fusing of the funk.
Big Old Butt.
Okay.
That might be the weakest song on here.
And we all know the words. We all know the story.
Right. The Booming System.
Booming System, classic.
Around the Way, Girl, even more classic.
Yeah.
Mama Said Knock You Out, my favorite LL song.
Classic.
Backseat of My Jeep. I Need a Beat remix.
Yeah, man. That's a game changer. That sounds like this is the greatest hits right here.
We're not done.
And you know, a lot of y'all.
These are what greatest hits sound like. I'm not done.
And you know what? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can we finish? Let's just finish with LL's greatest hits. Doing It.
Mm-hmm.
Instant classic. Remember when you first heard Doing It? It was like, yep, instant classic.
Yeah.
Just like when you heard Lounging, instant classic. Just like Hey Lover, instant classic. Ain't Nobody. That's just a bonus track. They did Ain't Nobody as a bonus track. Be a classic.
Did they put I Shot You on there? Is the I Shot You remix on there?
Use a track like Ain't Nobody against Ja Rule. You feel me? It's a throwaway for L.
Isn't the I Shot You remix on there?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
like,
so which one did you pull up? You pulled up All World 2 or the first one?
All World.
Okay, because I think two might have put the I Shot You remix on it, and I think the Lounger remix is on another one. So,
yeah.
Ohio K with the super chat says, "Nah, let's hear that Tupac greatest hits just for the people who don't think Pac was that dude."
Hold on. First of all, Tupac's greatest disc set was a 2-disc set because you needed 2 discs. Off rip. Off rip. You didn't have to separate it by any sort of set of years or anything. It's like, no, he gone. Oh, we need 2 of those. We need a 2-piece right now because it's not gonna fit on one.
And you know,
and they did. Hold on. That's when I realized that they knew that they had messed up putting the California Love version on All Eyes on Me, because on the greatest hits, the version of California Love that you hear is the version that we know is better. The version that came out with the video. It's on the greatest hits. Dear Mama's on the greatest hits. So Many Tears is on the greatest hits. Temptations is on the greatest hits. God Bless the Dead. I Ain't Mad at You. Pour Out a Little Liquor.
Pull it up real quick. Pull it up. I want to hear that.
We can pull it up if you want to.
Pull it up real quick, man. But you know what? When it comes to this LL thing, though, it's funny. A lot of people in this room probably wouldn't even have LL as a top 10 MC. And a lot of people, and you know, I don't even want to say in this room because I think we have some very hip-hop head listeners. A lot of people out there will sit there and tell you Eminem is top 5 all time, and they won't even rank LL at all. And this is what this man's greatest hits looks like in comparison to somebody like a LL Cool J.
No, you don't.
Go ahead with the Tupac thing.
I don't know if we want to do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Looks bad.
Let's do it for T-Pain. Let's do it for T-Pain out there.
This is really for T-Pain. Right. Keep your head up.
Okay. Heard that song.
2 of America's Most Wanted.
Yep.
Temptations. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, that just beat Eminem's greatest hits that they just right there. We're done. But we can keep going. God Bless the Dead was an unreleased track, but I love God Bless the Dead, actually. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite Tupac records. That's the Pac that I love. Hail Mary. I think we all remember Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Me Against the World, the actual song. How Do You Want It?
Yeah.
So Many Tears. This one had the Unconditional Love that was previously unreleased. I love Unconditional Love. I thought that was dope what they did with it. Trapped.
Yeah.
Featuring Shock G. That's off the first album. That and Brenda's Got a Baby were the best records on the first joint. Life Goes On off All Eyes on Me. I would have preferred Picture Me Rolling, but I think Picture Me Rolling might be on this too, if memory serves. Hit 'Em Up. You know how I feel about Hit 'Em Up. People love it more than I do.
Yeah.
Troublesome, which was under release. I didn't like Troublesome that much. Brenda's Got a Baby. I Ain't Mad at You. I Get Around. Changes.
It's a big
California
song.
Love, the real version.
Mm-hmm.
Picture Me Rolling is on here. I take that back. You can keep that. Picture Me Rolling is on here. How Long Will They Mourn Me? From Thug Life. Toss It Up's on here. Dear Mama's on here. All About You on here. To Live and Die in LA. Hearts of Men. They're missing stuff. Missing stuff. It's a double disc. They're missing stuff, Mike.
Crazy. Now I know people are pointing out that this is a second greatest hits.
Would be the last greatest hits.
Pull up the first greatest hits, the first curtain call when you get a chance. But my question would be, why would you force a second greatest hits if this is what you got to pull from? We got to ask ourselves this. Hits. And I feel like the other part of it is, numerically, these songs are hits. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did numbers. And so it kind of skews the lens of what exactly is a hit or considered to be a hit in hip-hop in these days. Not even just hip-hop, and just the music industry in general. Is this based on streams, numbers? You got the first greatest hits?
Oh, it's not going to cut it.
Go ahead.
It's not going to cut it.
Go ahead.
Fact.
Huh?
I think the record is called Fact. I think that was one of the newer tracks that they released for. It's on Curtain Call. The Way I Am.
Okay.
That's up high for a reason. I told you that's his best rap song.
And you know for everybody out there, that takes from Rakim's Pay the Full album as well.
It does.
Yeah.
Actually.
And you know what? I've always said that, whenever people always bring up what Rakim says about, Eminem, this and that, what's he supposed to say? He's getting caked off from being sampled. Why not?
He is.
Go ahead.
My name is?
Trash. I'm sorry.
It is. Stan. See, they know what it is. You see how they stuck My Name Is between his most credible hits, like his most credible hip-hop songs, The Way I Am and Stan. That's the Interscope machine knowing what his catalog really looks like. I just want to highlight that to people. They know what his shit looks like. They're like, no, we're taking his two best songs and we're going to put that pop candy shit right there in the middle and try to let it fly. So it goes The Way I Am, My Name Is, Stan. So the two credible songs scrunch between the pop candy trash. Lose Yourself goes right after that.
That's his best song.
Huh?
That's his best song.
I still think The Way I Am is better because it's more personal to me. But Shake That, featuring Nate Dogg. I forgot about Shake That, to be honest with you. Sing for the Moment.
I think that's one of his better songs.
Me too.
His first greatest hits is going up and down right now. Go ahead.
Without Me.
Trash.
Like Toy Soldiers.
Never liked that record either.
Me neither. The Real Slim Shady.
Trash.
Mockingbird.
Trash.
I like Mockingbird a little bit. Guilty Conscience.
I like Guilty Conscience.
Top 5. Cleaning Out My Closet. Top 5.
You like Cleaning Out My Closet?
I do. It's top 10. It might not be top 5. It's top 10. It's one of his 10 best songs.
Mama, I never met that.
That beat's crazy. It's really more that beat. That's one of the best beats he rapped on, in my opinion.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just Lose It.
No.
When I'm Gone.
It was cool. It's not a greatest hits thing.
See, this is what I mean. So, so it's like this, and I tell people this. It's like, if Snoop Dogg had like a greatest hits, the Shiznit would still be on there. You feel me? Because we all know what the Shiznit is. You feel me?
I mean, Doggy Style could be Snoop's greatest hits. You put the whole album up there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that to say it's like the Shiznit would find its way on. Like certain stuff would find its way on because Snoop's catalog, Snoop would need 2 discs, legitimately.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's like got Doggy Style and then he's got the rest of his career. But But that's what greatest hit shit looks like. Here's what I mean. Think about this. Like, if Snoop were to do a greatest hits, and it was to be like kind of put together in order of like how big the hits were, it's like Drop It Like It's Hot would be like 8.
Mm-hmm.
That would start off this greatest hits.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I'm not a huge Eminem fan, but to be fair, he's like Nas. His hits aren't the best song. A best of would probably be better.
So hold on.
But the thing is, though, he sold so many records, so it's like you have to have hits or highlight hits to do the numbers that he's done, right?
No, I get what he's trying to do, but here's where I'm not about to let that slide. It's like, okay, not all hits are built the same. It's like when you're saying that, you have to understand, like the singles on Illmatic are It Ain't Hard to Tell, The World Is Yours, and One Love.
Yeah.
Those are the singles. But also, he has stuff like Taken in Blood and Silent Murder. Where's Taken in Blood and Silent Murder on the Marshall Mathers LP, on his second album? Like, where's Taken in Blood and Silent Murder? Where's
so you're saying like the in-depth stuff that wasn't a quote-unquote
where's that stuff that he's talking about that M has? Where's the setup and shootouts at? Where's I Gave You Power? Where's Taken in Blood? Where's Silent Murder?
There's levels to this. Yeah.
There's levels to this shit. Yeah. Hold on. You want to talk singles? People always talk about it's like, man, Nas's singles is some of the best rap shit ever. Nas's Life was a single.
Yeah. KD says,
It Ain't Hard to Tell was Nas's first single. Halftime was a single off of a soundtrack. It's like, there's some rap shit.
KD says, have y'all spoke on Game's LA Leaker freestyle? No, not yet. We will speak on that. And I think we do need to speak on the LA Leakers and the Tiger situation and stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, it's interesting to me because these songs on a numeric level, they're hits. But from a hip-hop head level, and do we actually hear these songs in hip-hop spaces, I can't say that they are hits. You know, it's one of those things where like Slick Rick's Mona Lisa probably didn't do numbers. That shit's a hit. It's a hip-hop hit. And so I think what this quote-unquote greatest hit shows to me is numbers don't mean anything in hip-hop. And I think that's what the Locks and Dipset showed us too. But numbers don't really mean a lot in hip-hop.
Okay, so think about this. And this is like just a perspective to offer. We just talked about Snoop and Nas's greatest hits, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know how many singles that they have released that wouldn't make their greatest hits in favor of a better album record? You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Eminem doesn't have that. This is all the stuff that he's released that's done numbers. That doesn't make it great. That's why I was bringing up the shiznit. It's like, no, we know What's My Name and Gin and Juice and Ain't No Fun and Doggy Dog World are making it. It's like why Snoop is the shit is because Murder was the case and the shiznit's going on there too.
Well, see, what you're talking about are some interesting things because you're talking about having street records, right? You're talking about...
It's not even. I don't even think the shiznit is necessarily what you would classify as a street record. It's just these dope ass
records that weren't quote unquote singles, but the community of the hip hop community just took on its own without the label or anybody pushing it. I don't think Eminem has those kind of records in hip hop culture. Like I mentioned, I don't think Mona Lisa got a push like that. I could be wrong, but there was no video for it like it was Teenage Love or, you know what I'm saying? Or
Children's Story.
Yeah, it wasn't. You know what I mean? And so I feel like the DJs and just hip hop in general took a record like Mona Lisa and it just had a life of its own and it just became a classic. Eminem does not have any of those records. We could say for our top 20, there's a whole bunch of records like that for people. If you know, you know is not, well, not if you know, you know. The games we play and records like that, those aren't quote unquote singles, but they were taken, you know, by the DJs, by the people, and they got play because of how strong they were.
Right. So let's kind of tie this back together. And that's why I'm telling you, like, I love the intro to Ready to Die. Mm-hmm. Like, think about it. Like, that's Snoop's time. It's you know what I mean? Think about it. Doggy Style had just came out. You know what I'm saying? He had been on a run. You don't hear Gin and Juice or What's My Name or Doggy Dog World playing in the background because Big knew whatever. It was the shiznit playing. Eminem don't have those records.
And speaking of Big, I think that you mentioned this record earlier. Machine Gun Funk's one of those records.
I was actually saying, hold on, think about this. How would you how would you honestly feel about a Biggie Smalls greatest hits that didn't have the what? Or Everyday Struggle,
right,
or Machine Gun Funk, or Gimme the Loot? How would you feel?
I would feel like it's watered down. And I'm gonna be honest. I kind of feel like that about Outcast's greatest hits to a certain degree.
The saving grace of Outkast's greatest hits is they put Ain't No Thing on there.
Yeah.
They put Ain't No Thing on
and you
there.
Need that.
I feel that's a top 3 record.
Eminem doesn't have Ain't No Thing. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't have a Benz or a Beamer. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, you need
Benz or a Beamer is technically a single. I'll give them that. But songs like Ain't No Thing weren't a single. That's just buzz.
I mean, think about this. Benz or a Beamer was dope enough to be a single off of a soundtrack, and they had only released one album, and they're not from New York.
Yeah.
Think about this. I think they released Ill and Al Scratch's record first, but Benz or a Beamer is the second single off New Jersey Drive.
Was it? Because I think that Total Can't You See was on there too. Was that?
Okay,
before?
I'm thinking on the rap tip though.
Okay, yeah, I got
you. I know Big is on there, but that's an R&B song. Ill and Out Scratch, can't shut them down on a player. You gotta give pound to a player. That was the first rap joint they released, but then they dropped Benz or a Beamer. But Total Shit with Big on the verse was dropping too. But those were the kickoffs. But think about this: where Big from? Brooklyn. Where Total from? Jersey.
Yeah.
Where Ill and Out Scratch from? Okay. Yeah. Ain't they from Ill and Out Scratches? Ain't they from like Mount Vernon too?
I thought they were from Mount Vernon. Yeah, I could be wrong. Yeah. Correct us in the room.
I think they're from Mount Vernon too. So it's like no, like that fit with New Jersey Drive. But this group from Atlanta just made Southern Playalistic had this song that was so dope that even them cats up top was like, no, we got to drop this shit. This shit hard.
You know, like, when you think about it, young Outcast was given assignments to actually make albums. Like L.A. Reid's like, look, you got to make a Christmas song to make this album. Boom, we made Players Ball. You get a New Jersey Drive. This is
make a song about carjacking.
Yeah, because nobody else had to do that.
No, Big's are like that is a straight calling ass record. It's like we need to get y'all on the soundtrack to spread your fan base. It's a movie about car theft. They like, oh, we got it. They at the Mercedes-Benz, but
it's my favorite Outkast song.
I know it's up there.
You know what I love about Benz or Beamer? I just love the fact that Outkast was a duo and they're bouncing off of each other. And as great of a duo as they became and as big as their legacy is, we didn't get a lot of those moments. That's why, like, when you get songs like Spaghetti Junction, you kind of cherish those moments. We didn't get a lot of those moments. And I think that's why people love ATLians so much, because we got those moments the most on that album.
No, you're right. I mean, all of their back and forth is between 94 and 96 pretty much, except for Spaghetti Junction.
Yeah.
And Benz or Beamer is probably the zenith of that, which is why you love it so much. They don't go back and forth like that, and it's beautiful the way they go back and forth.
Because it's like they're almost at ATLing in skill level, but they still got the rawness of Southern Playalistic. It's right in the middle of that shit. Michael Williams with the super chat says, random thought, but Big releasing Long Kiss Goodnight always bothered me. Always bothered me. Should have responded while Pac was alive. To do so after he died looked weak. Yeah, I didn't like any of the Pac shots on Life After Death.
Can I tell you something? And I mean, this was just my take on it. I always thought that was more of a Suge shot than a Pac shot. Didn't you get that feel?
You think so?
Yeah.
I guess I never thought Big was talking about.
No, listen.
Go ahead.
When my men bust, you just move with such stamina. Slugs missed you. I ain't mad at you. We ain't mad at you. Who got shot and who did the bullets miss in that ride?
I think we ain't mad at you. You're right.
The 6'5", 300-pound dude got grazed by bullets. The 5'7", 165-pound dude got riddled with bullets. Slugs missed you. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about? How are we talking about Pac? Pac got hit and is dead. He's talking about Suge.
I think it's the I ain't mad at you thing that kind of brings
people
to Pac.
But you're right. He's saying it in jest, like, because I'm going to be honest with you, there are a lot of people that feel like Suge had something to do with it, because I ain't never seen no hit go that way. I'm just going to leave it like that. I don't know no hit that goes down like that, where the bigger dude don't catch like that. It's like, it's damn near like the shooters know who was positioned where.
Yeah. Brian with the super chat says Curtain Call is the longest charting hip hop album ever. It's one of the longest charting albums ever. It's charted on Billboard in 2022. The records have proven longevity, not just what Mike and Coop like, longevity. Have they though?
Okay.
I mean, listen, I think this is the thing. We just got to be real, man. He's going to do numbers regardless, but do we hear these records? Now, maybe I'm crazy and maybe I'm going on my quote unquote opinion, but you don't hear these records in hip hop spots. You don't.
No, hold on. I want, because Brian jumps in and defends M all the time, and it seems like it's all he does. And what I would like Brian to do is now tell us where he is from, what nationality and ethnicity is. No, seriously, because I want to make a point when he says these things, not just what Mike and Coop like longevity-wise. Well, it's not what we like. It's what hip-hop says. It may be, you're striking me as somebody that's outside of the sphere of the core of this culture. And what we won't be doing is resetting standards just because somebody keeps charting, because I'm going to keep on bringing this up. Well, MC Hammer once outsold everybody. Vanilla Ice once sold 17 million records worldwide. What Vanilla Ice songs deserve to be called classic because he sold 17 million records worldwide?
This is what I'm going to say when it comes to, let's just say, Hammer, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, all this chart stuff.
You hear Ice Baby or whatever, and it has a connotation to it. But one record that you do hear organically is Jump Around. That's a record that we can honestly sit here and say that record gets played. There's not an Eminem record in existence that gets the kind of play that Jump Around gets, and that's just
I love Jump Around. Hold on, so let's.
And so it's not about whatever y'all trying to make it about. We're talking about the music, and we're talking about music having legs, and that's an example of a record that has legs. I don't care what it sold. We don't know how much it sold. Like I said before, does anybody know what the Low End Theory sold? Who gives a fuck? It has legs.
That's a very.
Does anybody know what The Great Adventures of Slick Rick sold? We don't care. Well, how many weeks was that shit charting? How many weeks was Paid in Full's charting? We don't care.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, no, my only thing with Brian is like, well, if that's all you have to stand on, that you don't have anything really to stand on here, because that's not what hip hop is built on.
No, it's not.
Like if hip hop was built on what you're talking about, like Rakim wouldn't be able to put Lyrics of Fury on a greatest hits. You get what I'm saying? And that would be an injustice to hip hop culture. And so that's what I'm saying respectfully. No, we're not resetting any bars or standards for Eminem. The records have to be there. Exactly. Not the chart-topping sales. The records have to be there. And guess who has to okay it? This community has to okay it.
Well, you know what?
Does Lyrics of Fury have a video?
Mm-mm.
But see, it's on his greatest hits. Do you want to know why? Because the people.
Exactly.
People.
But see, even on top of that, though, Coop, if we want to talk about record sales and records that were big in its era and did numbers in its era, do you still hear Nelly Ride With Me? Because I do. Those records were hits.
Huh? I love Ride With Me.
It's a great record. It is what it is.
I love E.I. more.
When it came out, E.I. was my favorite of the three. But the record that has lasted the longest
Ride With Me has the most replay value.
And it is what it is. Eminem does not have records like that. I don't care what the Billboard says. You're not sitting here going out there seeing people playing these records. And if you do, maybe I'm just not in the same spots. I don't know.
Okay, so let's go back to the whole Ready to Die intro thing. This is what I mean about like Biggie and Puff knew what time it was. Do you understand when they're doing that intro? Gin and Juice is number one on the rap charts for 6 months straight. I'm going to say that again. Gin and Juice spent 6 months at number one on Billboard's rap charts. But when you hear the intro to Ready to Die, you hear the shiznit, because the streets said the shiznit's actually better than Gin and Juice. Right.
Michael Williams with the super chat says Lil C said it was about pop.
I mean, you really can't trust the things that C says, though. You can't.
Oh goodness, I think
I met C's once too. C's was cool to meet. He was way better than Bleak. But not as
Bleak
cool as
celebrating the anniversary today too. Willow Weston with the super chat says, "Love the podcast, fellas. Not a big M fan myself, but he does have a lot of standout features. Rarely out-rapped on a record. So what are his standout features? I would like to know.
No, he's talking about Renegade and he's talking about Dead Wrong. But give me more than those two, because I can give you 3 Nas verses from 1995 that are better than both of those verses, and he didn't even have an album. You see how it gets inflated and conflated?
Definitely inflated. And honestly, in my personal opinion, Renegade is one of the worst songs on the Blueprint. It shouldn't even be on the album.
I told you about that double entendre bar style Jay's using on there. That's crazy. Normal rappers can't do that.
Yeah.
Keep trying to say that. The style that Jay is imploring on Renegade, you can't rap like that.
Well,
okay?
Speaking of Memphis Bleak, Memphis just recently said...
None of us can't rap like that.
Memphis just recently said that Jay-Z's part on Renegade has aged better than M's. I don't know. I don't know who Memphis has been listening to, but I think a lot of people are saying that M's music, and now they're even saying some of his verses just haven't aged well. You know what we call that? That's getting caught up in the hype, in the moment.
Okay, so how about
Time reveals.
This is what I mean. Jay felt like lyrically he wasn't about to win that battle with M that day based on the track that got sent to him, because that got sent to him. And so he made it a style fight. And style tends to hold over time more than bars, unless the bars are all-time great, i.e. Rakim, Nas, Black Thought, Lupe. You feel me? Like, all-time great. The bars hold. Other than that, styles win fights. That's why you can still play the One More Chance remix to this day.
No, that's real.
First thing first, I pop a freaks all the honeys, dummy. That's a style contest. That's not a bar fight.
He killed that record.
That record.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says, I always thought Big was talking about the robbery. I mean, that's how great Big was lyrically. Everybody can interpret it so many different ways.
I mean, when he's saying slugs missed you, I ain't mad at you. I want somebody to explain that to me then.
I guess he's talking about the robbery? Yeah.
Right. I mean, because Tupac got hit twice. So how is he talking about Tupac if he's talking about the slugs missed somebody? Only slugs that got missed was by Suge.
He got grazed.
Let's do that again. Yeah. Unless you can show me somebody else that got shot at where the bullets missed them.
I didn't say the worst song on the Blueprint. I will say this. I would say that the only song worse than Renegade to me on the Blueprint is Jigga Jigga That Nigga Jigga. That's not a good song. Now, Ola Ovito is actually not a bad song. It just doesn't fit on that album. And I think that from a production standpoint, I think Renegade's the worst beat on the Blueprint. I think that the rap saves it. I don't love the hook. I just never liked Renegade like that.
No, I like Renegade. It's not. How about this?
After listening to You Don't Know and Song Cry and Heart of the City, yeah, it's not at that level. It's just not.
Hold on. How about this? Where would you place Renegade?
On the album?
No. Listen what I'm about to give you.
Go ahead.
In relationship to the Jay and Nas collaborations, excuse me.
Interesting.
Where would you put
Black
it? Jay and
Republican
Nas, you and I talk vehemently about how, this Jay Nas thing, it's like, y'all need to do better. Where's Renegade?
I think that's a lack of
y'all need to do better. No.
Honest.
Y'all need to do better. But where's Renegade going there?
Okay, I'm gonna get Black Republican number 1, right?
Me too.
After that,
I would have to go Renegade. So it's a dope record.
This is the thing.
I love Success, but I don't think Success is necessarily better than Renegade. I think. How about this? Jay on Success, that might be my favorite shit that he does on the album, flow in lyrically wise combined. But that's because he knows Nas is coming to sew it up, and then he's like, gotta come with my A shit. And he did.
I'm gonna be real, Coop, and I know people in here are gonna say I'm bugging. Just based on what I would rather listen to, if you want to sit here and throw all these songs out there, and I gotta press play on these. I'm pressing play on Black Republican first. I'm pressing play on BBC second. I'm pressing play on Success third. Then it's gonna be Renegade, and then it's gonna be Sorry Not Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna go Black Republican, Success, and then Renegade.
Okay.
So that's where I would place it. And so
I actually like BBC, man. I don't know if it's because Jay took it, man.
It's too hot. It's too happy.
You don't like
and
the
these
happy
niggas
stuff, yeah.
I mean, first of all, Shit's way too happy.
Jay Short with the super chat says M songs don't have legs because those casual fans discover the real thing after being introduced to hip hop by Eminem. Very interesting. He does introduce many non-hip hop fans to hip hop. Some stay, some don't. Patiently Waiting, All She Wrote, Forever, No Love. That's Willard Weston's features. Now, I'm not a huge Patiently Waiting fan, but I am a big fan of Don't Push Me.
Yeah.
I think that's one of his better.
I'm both of those verses too.
Yeah.
And also too, I don't count Dead Wrong like that because he wrote that. First of all, that's Biggie's early stuff. Like, as in pre-Ready to Die Biggie, as in not greatest MC of all time stuff. Maybe not even top 10 lyrically.
If Biggie lived, we probably would never hear the record.
We would never hear not those verses. He would have redid it, but
he might not even done that, man.
I love M's come in on Dead Wrong more than I love the verse. To be honest with you, like after the come in, I'm like, I'm cool. There's 7 different levels to Devil Worship and Horse's Head. Like, I love the way he comes in, but after like the flip is done, I'm cool.
Again, it's style. What is he saying?
Mammals, and rabbits, but I don't get into that. I kick the habit. I just eat you to death with weapons. The evil, yeah.
I can't relate.
It's cool. I got a lion in my pocket. I'm lying. I got a 9 in my pocket. It's like, oh, so then you Jack Prince shit too, just like Tupac.
Who's ready for war? I'm ready for war. I got machetes and war. So any that said he was raw. I mean, the rhyme scheme on there is dope. Mad Max, shout out to him with the super chat, says, not trying to give M Bell, but I do remember when Forever with Drake, Wayne, and Kanye came out. That's the last feature I thought from M that got played well and lasted. Do people still play Forever though? I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think it was hot when it started because it was on the LeBron James soundtrack. It had the hottest people in the game. It had Kanye, Wayne, and Drake on there at the time, and
When did it come out? When did it come out?
Man, that shit was like 09-ish or something.
I can remember hearing it like 13, 14-ish in the club still, but I mean...
Never been impressed with that record. And I know y'all gonna say I'm hating. I just don't like the record, man. Maybe it's the production selection, because whenever Dre does his Dre stuff and M's on it, like on, What's the Difference, or even Forgot About Dre, or if we get a record like Guilty Conscience, I like it. But again, it's not all-time top 5, top 10 MC type of stuff either. Michael Williams to the super chat says, Coop, who do you think the Heard Through the Grapevine You Got F'd 4 Times was for? Those rumors about Pac in jail.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so first of all, I felt like that was kind of, can I just tell you the truth? Because I'm really like detailed like that. I thought that was the laziest part of that record, and I love Long Kiss Goodnight, but I thought it was the laziest part of that record because he just straight up took what Prodigy and them said on Drop a Gem on him and ran with it. So it really wasn't much thought involved. Prodigy and Havoc actually spoke to it while Pac was alive with Drop a Gem on him. And Prodigy literally says, Rikers Island's flashback to the house that you got scuffed it in. You would think that getting your headshots enough then. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like... In my personal opinion, not to cut you off,
it was kind of lazy by Big. He just took Mobb Deep shit, really, if you really want to know how I feel about it.
I think any and every line that could have possibly been about Pac on Life After Death should have been X'd. It just should have been. You know what I mean? Like, knowing the climate at the time and understanding what it was like, and, tensions were high anyway. And Big was great. He didn't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't need that. And so I think that, unfortunately, not cutting that stuff led to what ultimately happened, unfortunately. Or it increased the chances, I'll say that. I have no way of knowing if any of that stuff would have been cut, if things would have been different, but come on, man. Why are we poking the bear?
The reason why it didn't get cut is because he died, though. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the shit was done. He was out there on Sway's show rapping these verses.
He did rap Long Kiss Goodnight on Sway.
Going Back to Cali was out. These records were out. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
It wasn't like now where...
him doing that, I make your mouthpiece obese like Della Reese live.
Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And because you already did it with the Who Shot You, and even that was in poor taste
That
in
was a
my opinion.
timing thing. That was a timing thing.
Regardless, that should have never came out. Let's just be real. The timing was
I feel
very
two ways
convenient.
about that. I feel two ways about that. First of all,
And
I
I
feel
love
like
that record.
It's one of the best rap songs ever, Mike. It's
I love
one of
the
the
record.
best hardcore East Coast rap songs ever. Like it is. It's how about this?
The
It's
timing
not
was in poor taste.
How about this? It's not Shook Ones or Life's a Bitch to me, but it's probably next, like third, like Street Record. Like it's like that.
I love the record.
And so,
it shouldn't have came out.
I get what you're saying, but it's like it's one of the best rap records ever.
Shouldn't
It's
have
hard
came
to
out,
like.
Coop. Listen,
But
man.
you want to wait
you
till
was
like
cool.
97 when they're both dead to drop. I mean, I feel what you're saying,
Cool,
but it's
cool,
that song changed.
I feel what you're
it changed
saying.
the way niggas was rapping about shit.
Cool, I feel you. But
you heard the story about how Jay?
I've heard the stories. Let me tell you this.
Went to go
man.
listen to Who Shot You.
I hear you. Great record. I'll tell you this. Me and you cool, right? You come to the studio to see me, supposedly, or whatever, and I'm in that studio. You get shot in the, you know what I'm saying, in the lobby.
That's not how it happened, though.
How'd
he wasn't there to see them.
Okay,
he was
let's
there
say he
to
wasn't.
See another
let's
artist.
say he wasn't. You went to the studio to record with another artist. I happened to be in that
it's like
studio.
Lil Peak or somebody had given Pac 10 G's to go lay a verse down. Everybody recorded out of that studio.
Got you. I'm there, right?
Like MOP was like there that night. C's was there. Bad Boy, everybody was there. Like the only nigga that wasn't there was Nas.
I feel you. Okay, you're there. Something like that happens, and for whatever reason, you have an inclination that I knew it was going to go down. And I didn't give you the heads up. Whatever, regardless of what's true, not whatever, I can't put out a record. Who Shot You? We're just going to hold on to that one for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. That's in poor taste. Regardless of when it was made, I could have made it fucking 2 years before that. I'm not going to put it out after you sitting here being shot and you accusing different people of it and my name is in the mix. To put out a record like that with that title, regardless of what it's saying sonically, it feeds into it. It does, man. Regardless.
I understand that. No, I understand that. And so
it shouldn't have been put out.
I'm gonna like, okay, this album, the song was recorded before the Quad Studio shit. Okay?
Doesn't matter.
It
should have been put out when it was put out.
No, okay. So I'm gonna submit to you once again. Now, who was in control of that?
Yeah.
All right. Just like who was in control of this juicy thing? Everybody like, how did Biggie get his hands on this? It's like I got a real good idea how Biggie got his hands on this juicy song.
We got to stop that.
A real good idea about how Who Shot
You.
It
was a team effort, though.
A lot of the fuckery keep pointing back to one person, but
I feel you, Coop. I feel you, Coop. But did Puff go out there?
But do you?
Coop. Let's be real.
Big recorded those.
You're not gonna let me finish. Hold on. You're not gonna let me finish.
Go ahead.
Look,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is the thing, bro. Puff didn't will him over to Sway's show to rap these verses that sound like he was popping shots at a person that was no longer here. He kept it going. He did. He got to get something for that too. You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
All jokes aside, and all debate aside, let's just speak briefly like grown men who handle things in a grown man way. You done went out here, we're professionals with what we do, and you've gone out here live and told our audience that you fucked my wife. Yeah. The least of your problems concerning me should be me rapping about your ass. Well, you should be worried. No, that's what I'm saying. Let's talk like men. You should really be worried about me coming to see about your ass, not rapping about your ass when things got to this point. And so everybody's to blame. It went too far. Yeah. Everybody.
But I think this, and I agree with you on that.
Come on, you fucking my wife? Oh, is that what you did? You don't have to worry about me rapping, nigga. You don't have to worry about me rapping. We're going to wrap you up.
Cool. After the man's gone.
Like Dexter, and make sure the blood don't get out.
Cool. After the man's gone, you keep going?
Like I said,
it's over at that point.
there's some things you don't say, Mike. And I love Pac. You know how I feel. I actually feel Pac is more important than Big, even though I think Big is the better MC. I think Pac's more important. He crossed so many lines. And I can remember Ice-T doing an interview when he was doing Mad TV with Pac, and he was trying to calm Pac down. And Pac, in his deepest of hearts, felt like they shot him and set him up. Okay, that's fine. But you have to deal with what you say.
That's no little thing, yeah.
Huh?
That's no little thing.
No, getting shot and robbed is not a little thing.
It's not.
No. But when your response to it is, first off, fuck your bitch and the clique you can't claim. West Side, when we ride, coming quick with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on Bad Boy. Niggas fucked for life. Aren't you inviting it back? Yeah. That's why I don't like Hit 'Em Up. That's why everybody that says Hit 'Em Up is so great. It's like, what do you hear that's great about that?
Yeah.
That's not great. That's the Tupac I don't want to remember.
Yeah. Darius Campbell with the super chat says, "Hey, Coop, who closed out a track better than Pac? Songs like Smile, Straight Ballin', and Made Niggas are hard to top." I know we done missed a whole bunch of super chats, but we're gonna get to them real quick.
Yeah. Go back and grab the super chat.
Yeah.
He brings up a viable point. It's just, Biggie. Some of it is how everything connects, and so Biggie had a team initially. Pac didn't get a team till the end, and so the way Suicidal Thoughts plays at the end of Ready to Die, and the way that You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You plays at the end of Life After Death. Some of it is a title, some of it is a time, some of it is a death, but it's hard to beat Suicidal Thoughts and You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You.
I agree with that. Darian Harris with the super chat says, "If you listen closely to BBC, what made it so dope is that Nas and Jay borrowed each other's rhyme styles." Never listened to it in that way. But hey,
that's fascinating.
It is fascinating. I like the song. Mad Max with the super chat says, "First part of M's verse on Dead Wrong is Royce's verse off the original Renegade that never came out. M took a piece of that and started it off. That's not his. So which one came first? Are we sure?" Unknown Name with the super chat says, "I always say Big performed Last Kiss Goodnight in Cali is the cause of his death. It was literally I dare you." It's a very sad thing, man. I hate that it kept going.
Okay, so hold on. Where is Puff in this? Hold on one second. Somebody's at my door.
Let me get to the super chat. This is a real live show here. Willard Weston says, "I'm going to go as far to say that Biggie started the beef. Biggie made the hit to get Snoop's trailer shot. Pac hadn't said nothing about Big before then." Man, this conversation just went somewhere else. Set Good Production says, "Where's the accountability on Pac's part? Like, what the fuck?"
I just bought
LP with the super chat. Nah, I'm just catching up. He probably said that before we said it. LP with the super chat says, "Big got comfortable after Pac died and got clipped."
I don't even want to do this. I don't want to talk.
I don't want to talk about this either, man. Like I said, I want to hold our people high, but see again.
No, for real. Like people. Okay, so like for the people that weren't there, this fucked everything up. It didn't make anything better. Yeah. It didn't make anything better.
It didn't. It really didn't.
And they're not here, and so rap's not the same. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't even know where to go from here. Let's go to this. Let's go to this Power 106 thing. People are talking about the Game freestyle. Did you see Game's freestyle on the LA Leakers?
Yeah.
Game's going for it, man. I'm looking forward to the album.
He's been around Nas and Hit Boy all year.
Mm-hmm. Well, the LA Leakers.
Okay, so
go ahead.
We have a big enough following now that people inbox me, information, And so some people close to Nas have been like talking about like the whole Game and Nas thing in terms of like, I think it's something going on where they're really not trying to shit on each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so that's part of why Game's dropping on the 12th. So KD3 is like around the corner too, but we can keep it at Game. But I mean, what you're hearing, if people, you said it yourself, Like Nas sounds like the Nas we grew up with as teens, vocally and lyrically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's whose game is around, who else do you want to be around? You want to be around Rakim in '88? We just got done talking about Big and Pac in '97. Those are the guys you should want to be around. Like at this level, like so he's, iron sharpens iron, Mike. So
this
it's
is
like
my thing, and that's probably why he's calling it Drillmatic too. He's around the Illmatic one, right? One of the things that I got to give Game a whole lot of props for. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, man. When everybody was ranting and raving about the documentary, I wasn't that big on Game because, again, I think I was listening to him as an MC as opposed to how the songs were put together. But over time, this man has really become a really, really dope MC. And many ways that he doesn't get a lot of credit for. His versatility, his ability to, jump on pretty much any type of record, adjust to pretty much anything. Now, I know that he has this whole adapting and adopting thing that he does lyrically, and everybody harps on the name dropping. But when you talk about skill set and just constantly getting better, there's not a lot of people in the game that have gotten better with the bars than Game has. And he's constantly improving his ability to make songs, too. I'm looking forward to this album, to be honest.
Okay, so I jumped in the chat, right?
Okay.
So, no, just something people say. Kenny Mack pointed out who it was. I said Lil Keek because I couldn't remember. It was Lil Sean. I knew it was a little somebody that Pac was coming to see. So
okay.
He wasn't coming to see. He wasn't to see them. I just wanted to clear that up, right?
Okay, yeah. No, we got to be accurate.
No, because we have to be clear about how we audit that, and I really don't want to circle around on it, but we got to name names and do shit properly.
No, you're right. 100%.
What happened that night? Like rap changed forever that night.
It did.
Because it was never the same. Pac was never the same. Rap was never the same.
Nope.
It wasn't even intended. Like Pac wasn't even going there to fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean.
It's a very sad situation, man.
Very sad.
And I'm pretty sure that all things aside, and I'm gonna say this and we can move on. I'm pretty sure if everyone involved could have done things differently or had the opportunity to do things differently, they would.
Now, here's what I will say, and I heard this from somebody that wasn't there the night that it happened, but pulled up afterwards. It's like niggas did know Pac was coming. Because it was Pac. So Pac coming in the building was the biggest deal in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why Pac felt some type of way. Pac knew who he was at the time, too. He was the biggest deal in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Every fucking building he walked in, unless Ice Cube was around, it's 1993.
Yeah.
94, 90, like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
was it 94 or 95? Something like that, yeah.
I feel like it's 94.
Okay.
Feels 94-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad thing. But yeah, when it comes to Game, man, I'm looking forward to this album, man. His skill set is continuously getting better, and him getting on the LA Lakers, I mean, it was just in time because the LA Lakers are actually under some fire right now. I think there's protests outside of Power 106 as we speak. Are you aware of, what's going on with that situation?
I'm not. When you just said that, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Enlighten me. But before that, hold on, can I make something on your Game comment right quick?
Go ahead.
As far as progress is concerned, I've always said I was always most impressed with Fat Joe's jump and Jeezy's jump. Guys who were more street guys than rappers that actually ended up being dope-ass rappers. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They were never as good as Game was starting off, and he's actually grown at a better rate than they have. I don't know if anybody's improved in the history of rap from their first album to where they stand today the way the Game has. Nobody's grown like that as an MC, in my opinion. He's went from somebody that needed help, in my opinion, on his first album to make a great album to somebody that I'm pretty confident that you can just sit him with the producers of his choice by himself,
mm-hmm.
and he can give you a great product. And I don't say that about too many MCs. There are MCs with all-time great resumes I don't feel that way about.
Don, if you ask me who I would rather hear 10 songs from where it's just them, between Game and Jeezy, it's not even a question.
Not a question. And you know how I feel about Jeezy, but it's not a question for me either.
Yeah.
Because Game's catalog is just so much ridiculously greater than Jeezy's. It is.
Well, a lot of people wanted us to talk about what's going on in Power 106 too, and I think it was a segue from the LA Leakers. And so I think this tweet might, kind of give it a little bit of justice. Shout out to Mike Bangers. He said, Tiger, well, I'll go back after I read this. He said, Tiger apologizes to the Mexican community for appropriating their culture, which is kind of interesting. Now, can we get an apology from the Mexican community for consistently screaming the N-word in rap music? So, for people who aren't privy to what's going on, Tiger made a video for his song Ay Caramba, and he had some images in there that some big-time podcasters in the Mexican-American community found offensive, and he spoke on it. I think his name is American Chulo, right? So, Power 105 or 106, excuse me, the LA Leakers, they had American Chulo come up to their show, and he expressed what he felt about Tiger's video, and they made Tiger apologize live on air. The American Chulo gentleman asked if Tiger would take the video down. That was the mission, excuse me. And I think Tiger said he would be open to it, and I think that the video might actually be down. At least that's what American Chulo said. So, fast forward a day or so, there comes all of this footage of this gentleman's podcast, the Mexican-American Chulo, and he's saying N-word, this and that, saying a lot of disparaging things about Black Americans, right? And so Power 106 is getting a lot of heat for actually platforming this individual, not only giving this individual platform when more than likely they knew about his past, but on top of that, making Tiger sit there on air and apologize for it. So they have actually taken down the apology since a lot of the footage has surfaced of what this guy has said on his podcast about Black people, right? And so Black people want an apology from Power 106 that, since they want to sit there and make people apologize, and they have yet to give it. So that's why people are out there protesting at the LA Leakers, I guess, parent company show. Excuse me, I said that wrong. At Power 106 station, which houses the LA Leakers. So that's what's going on in short. Jay Short with the Super Chat said, props to Game. You aren't supposed to go against guys like Jimmy Iovine and 50 Cent and survive. Yes, props to him. So what do you think about all the stuff that I just said? I know it was a lot.
It was. This going on in Cali?
Yep. LA?
Okay. So the Hispanics run LA. Okay. All right. Like they run LA. I was out there.
Well, I mean, I'll say this. That's probably that's probably why Tiger went to the station and, went out there and apologized. And I'm sure Tiger was trying to be the bigger person in a community that, he's very familiar with, and he knows everybody, and he was trying to be cordial because he didn't mean any offense to it. If he did, then he wouldn't have been so open to go out there and apologize. I think the problem here is the fact that Power 106 brought up somebody who has a past like this for this cause. It would have been different if they would have just brought up somebody who hadn't said these type of things, No, that's exactly. It said Hispanics don't run shit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we got to talk to our LA people. I know you spent time out there.
Well, no. Whoever said that, they ain't living in Southern California.
Yeah.
Where are Southern Cali people at? Like, I was out there, Mike. The Black Hispanic thing, and the Blacks feeling like the Hispanics are appropriating some of the culture too much with the N-word. No, that shit's real and live. I don't know what they talking about. The essays out there do not play. Like, hold on. Where? Rusty Nail. They run California. Right. Like, I told you, Mike, I know real essays, Mike, when I be pulling into my neighborhood, like they blocking off the front of their neighborhood, like in the 6'4s and the Lolos, making it bounce, playing Tupac. Like, I'm riding, what's up, Coop? You want some weed, Holmes? Like, no, that shit real. Like the shit from Friday, like that they, no. There's really like bangers. Like, no, that shit real. I told you the first weekend that I was in Cali, I was in an essays neighborhood, like picking up a bag, and like niggas was essays, I'm calling them niggas. The Hispanics was rolling up on my windows with Wolverine claws, tapping on the window because they seen I was in Georgia Tag. Like, you in the wrong neighborhood, bro.
So, do you think that Tyga was wrong in the first place with the video, or?
I just think you have to be careful when you're stomping on that territory because it's already volatile and tense on a few levels.
Right.
The game culture, the haves versus the have-nots. You'll be on a have street and be on a have-not street real quick. Like the line between L.A. and then the Compton to Inglewood and then the Baldwin Hills where you're back on like a more. It happens fast. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on in a very big melting pocket with a lot of traffic. There's just a lot of shit going on in Cali, and so it's like better to be cool.
You know what I think? This whole thing kind of brought up an interesting discussion, and I guess this is kind of where I want to go with it. Where do you think we're at a place in society where it is offensive for groups outside of black people to use the N-word in their raps? And we're talking about, I mean, let's just keep it real. Like, do you think that? I mean, Fat Joe has been approached about this many a times, and he always defends his upbringing. Do you think that, it needs to come to a point where Fat Joe's like, and not just singling out Fat Joe, but other non-black people in hip-hop be like, you know what? I'm just going to retire that word, whatever. If people are offended by it, maybe I need to chill on that. Since we're talking about stuff that offends people,
I'm an ownership person and an ownership type of thinker. And so has this been explained to me? Our recreation of the word from the ER to the A is us taking our power back, essentially, just in brief and in short, is how that word works in our community, correct?
Let me play devil's advocate. I want to ask you a follow-up question to that. If we've taken the power back from that word, why do we care about others saying it?
Hold on. So this was what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we took the power back, we didn't do a good job about keeping ownership and power because we just delegated it everywhere else. Because I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't think the power has been taken from the word, obviously.
Neither do I. Yeah. Especially living in Cali. And this is what I'm saying. Oh, if you're a black man and you grow up in California, there's a high chance, especially Southern California, you're going to date you an Hispanic girl, you're going to date you an Asian girl, you're going to date you a white. You feel what I'm saying? And these words get transferred around in inner circles before they become outward. And that's what I mean about our poor delegation of the word. It's like, oh, no. We done made it okay for certain communities, especially in Cali, because of the melting pot to use the word.
I got some Filipino homies about New York, too.
I got some Filipino homies out in Cali. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I can't even front. Wasn't too offensive to the word being used because they were kind of like, indoctrinated to it already from the black people in California. They kind of made it okay. Like, I'm going to tell you one of my favorite hip hop moments in life. When I lived in Southern California, and she didn't use this word, but one of my homies who I worked with was this chick named Crystal. Crystal's married with kids now, but she's Filipino, but she was a DJ. And I can remember going to her crib after work and we're smoking weed and she's literally scratching on the turntables and I'm freestyling. And I'm thinking to myself, I would have never thought I would have ended up in Southern California in Orange County with a Filipino DJ, like freestyling, like hip hop and black culture and community is just gone everywhere, Mike. You know what I'm saying? And me and Crystal are still cool to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like she's straight Filipino and she doesn't even look Filipino. You would see her and think that she's like, half white, half Chinese or something. But she's like 100% Filipino and straight hip hop, used to DJ like and all that. And I thought to myself, and she's a little bit younger than me, I can think about the environment that she grew up in around black people. Before she ever met me, she was hearing the N-word from black people around her because of the community that she chose to immerse herself in. You get what I'm saying? So we haven't done a good job about auditing or delegating the word. I'm just using that experience as an example of how cultures blend real quick.
I think that's kind of giving people an out, and I'm gonna say, wow. Let me get to this.
No, if you feel that way, explain. Yeah.
Unknown Name says the problem is you can't disrespect anybody but black men in 2022. No Jumpers interview from Kulo was even worse. This is the thing, man. I think that no matter how people grew up, if you're outside of, the black race or whatnot, let's just say I am from LA and I'm Filipino or whatever. and I say that around my circle, and they've made me comfortable with that. If I pull up in Harlem or whatever and don't know anybody, I'm not gonna go to the corner store and say, "Yo, my nigga, what's up?" You know what I mean? You're just not. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that's not your
Okay.
circle, right? And so all I'm saying, and what I want to correlate that to, yeah, hip hop is universal, and when you become a person that it has a global status on a main stage, you can't really apply what's happened with your circle of friends to the rest of the world and say that people in Atlanta or, you know what I'm saying, in Tallahassee shouldn't feel a way about you saying something because of how you grew up. You know what I mean?
No, okay, so let me play devil's advocate to you. And I brought up the situation with Crystal because it was one of my real hip hop moments that I remember as a young man. That was before I did my first album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I hadn't even recorded material out in Cali like that yet. What if that night that she and I kicked it and like freestyled and she was DJing, like, because I'm going to tell you exactly what my impression was from kicking it with her that night, and her dude, because her dude had like popped up because we all worked together. Like, they were both like Filipino, but it was kind of like he might have been Hispanic and like half Filipino or something. But it really struck me. It's like they're in the same culture and world than I am. So don't tell me that this word hasn't been tossed around them. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I mean about us not doing a good job of auditing it. I had pulled up on her and she never used that word around me. Right. And I don't think she's the type of woman that is, because we've known each other for over 20 years now. She's never used that word around me. But the spaces that she was in as a young woman in her 20s, don't tell me that that word wasn't being hurled around her. We haven't done a good job about auditing, editing, ownership, explaining, informative, acceptance, like all these things. And I'm just a start at home person. And so I get what you're saying.
But what if we
I'm
start
saying
now?
I'm going to look at the man in the mirror, to quote Michael Jackson.
But what if we start doing that now? And see, that's the thing.
It's like,
when people try to correct some things that, like you said, haven't been audited well in the past, and then you approach them on it, they're like, "Nah, man, I grew up like this, and this." Is it too hard for people to just sit there and say, "You know what? If you're offended by that, I'll chill." You know what I'm saying? Because I would do that to any other group. I would do that to any other group, regardless of what, my circle was. If that group that I'm not a part of says that they're offended by me saying something that applies to their group and has a history, that's all you got to say. I'm gonna be like, cool, I'm good. I respect you enough to do that. You know what I'm saying?
This is what I mean. Sometimes there needs to be a consensus. Like, I have a funny way of auditing things. It's like, if you're outside of my race and I hear you say that word, we have a tendency, if we're offended, to become violent. And I don't necessarily think that that is the answer. And not because I don't believe violence solves things. I'm actually one of those people that believes people deserve an ass whooping sometimes.
Of course.
So I'm not like above or beyond that. But here's what I tell you. Anybody that hasn't been black that has used that word around me, because people who are outside of race have used that word behind me, well, they've only used it one time, because guess what? They're not around me anymore. And that's what I mean about auditing it.
It's just about respect, man.
Anybody around me that's ever used that word, they can say that they know me, but they can't say that they were ever close to me really after the moment that they said that. And I guarantee you, there are people that watch this podcast right now that aren't black, that know me, that realize why I don't fuck with them right now. You feel me?
Well, it's just about respect, because I think the
it
irony
is. So you don't respect me, so I can't fuck with you.
Exactly. And I think the irony of this, this Tyga situation is the fact that the gentleman who wanted an apology from Tyga has gone out there and disrespected the community that he wanted an apology from, and has said, not only just said the N-word, like it wasn't like somebody like called him, it was actually on his podcast. You know what I mean? So it's like, at that point, the audacity of you to actually want an apology from a group that you have gone out your way to disrespect.
So let's say this. So let's say he needs his ass whooped. So does the black person that made him comfortable. Right.
I agree with that.
It's twofold, because you can't okay the behavior. That's what I mean. It's like, for me, and this is exactly what I'm saying, because of my reputation, I have a choice to whoop ass or walk away. Well, I have to walk away because I'm whooping ass about other shit.
But I think where you and I disagree on, I think that even if people made that person feel comfortable, the people that they're comfortable saying that around are that circle. They're not going to go out there to Six Flags Drive and just use that around random black folk. They're not. So you know better. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's what I mean is like, and this is exactly how I treat it. Because here's what you'll find. When people outside of our race use that word, they wait until what to use that word? Until they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And so here's what I mean. It's like, oh, I realize that people do that when they're comfortable. Well, whooping your ass isn't about to make you realize what you did wrong.
No, I agree. I think that sometimes,
but removing that comfort level by me not fucking with you anymore. It's like, why didn't Armand fuck with us anymore?
It's a lack of respect, man. It just is what it is. And again, I mean, I think everybody deserves a warning, right? All you got to do is just let people know that, you know, you're not cool with them doing that. And if you are cool with them doing that, that's your prerogative, and they continue to do that. But my only thing is, in these situations, and we've seen this with some non-black rappers, right? Whenever it's brought up, they're not sitting there like, you know what? If black people are offended by this, I'm a global artist now. More people are listening to me than the people that were on my block. All you got to say is, you know what? I'll stop using the word. But they'll jump into the, nah, man, you know, I should be able to use. Like, why you want to say it so bad? If people say that they're offended by it from a group that you're not a part of, that should be it. Because I'm not going to sit there and defend a term from another group that I'm not a part of if that group tells me that they don't want me using the word.
No, it's just like, be educated and informed enough to know that there's no place or space where you should even feel entertained enough to use it. And if you're to that point, you're either one of two things to me. Really fucking ignorant or really fucking comfortable. I don't like educating people like you, and I don't like being around people like you. So instead of whooping ass and catching the case, I'm just going to leave. I'll give you an example of it. Okay, so you and I used to work at Dave & Buster's together, right?
Yeah.
You know I was on a bar staff with those mostly white bartenders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's cool and be close and be having these little reunions. Do you ever see me at any of those Dave & Buster's reunions with those white bartenders when it be popping up on? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I worked with them for years. I've known some of their kids. We're close. A couple of them done thrown that word around. I don't fuck with you.
Yeah. I got a super chat here.
So even though there are some people that I want to go see and go say hey to, and that I love dearly, it's like, no, you fuck with that sorry white pieces of shit that like use that N-word that one time when I was 23 years old and I'm 40 now and I haven't forgotten. So fuck y'all and fuck those get-togethers. Because people be like, where's Coop? Coop's being the same black motherfucker that he always was. I remember every slip of the tongue. And so the best thing that I could do, because Mike, you know the people that I'm talking about, we all know each other. They're going to get wind of this. They know what the fuck they said when we were behind that bar. That one time they said it. And that's why my black ass hasn't pulled up on them since I got back from Cali 15 years ago. Hello.
Non-plus of the super chat says, what percentage black DNA makes you black? It's a very complex question. I mean, I don't really go on the percentiles. I think that culturally, there are people who are all right, you got people who are black descent. I don't want to have to go into this long history lesson. And you got people who are black Americans, black Haitians. You have people who are Cuban and black and white Cubans, yada, yada. I think you're referring to black Americans when you talk about percentages because that's the only time that gets brought up. But if you're culturally black American, that's a thing. It is. And I don't think that there is a quote unquote percentage. There are a lot of different factors that make you identify with a certain group. And unfortunately, there are people who pass who go to that other side of it, regardless if they're 50-50 or not. And there's some people who are quote unquote 50-50, but they're darker than me, but they have to identify a certain way.
Okay, so listen to this is what I mean is that, and this is where it gets hard to qualify. Mm-hmm. So I've referenced my homie Obi, who I met, that I did my first album with when I lived in California, okay? Obi lives in Medellin now in Colombia, but he's from Sacramento, but he's actually Nigerian. So Obi's African. Obi's name is Obi Okaguro. His family is from Nigeria.
Exactly.
Okay? He's raised in Sacramento, okay? I met Obi, who is African, and Crystal, who is Filipino, 100% African. Both his parents Nigerian, 100% Filipino. Both her parents Filipino. She still goes to the Philippines, to her country's village. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know who the cooler motherfucker is, right?
I don't know.
It was Crystal. I told you I kicked it with Crystal and was doing the DJ scratching thing for me, and Obi started making music because she was more of my hip hop vibe than even the producer that I chose. That's what I mean about how we have to audit these things very, very carefully. Right. He 100% African. He 100% Filipino. When I met the both of them, I thought she was more into hip hop than he was. I had to ask that motherfucker if he made beats.
Jay Short was
I'm gonna tell you why I asked him. I asked him on some stereotypical racist shit because he was the only nigga I had seen in Orange County working in the same area that I was working in. I was like, yo, Obi, he used to work at Cheesecake Factory. He was sitting out on the patio one night when I was getting off, and I was like, yo, Obi, you make beats? He was like, I do make beats. I was like, let's go to your crib.
Jay Short with the super chat.
I was like, I'm out here looking for a producer. Your black ass been sitting outside the Cheesecake Factory the last 2 months I've been working. You ain't said shit about no rap,
he was
nigga.
Trying to keep it on the low with his beats, man.
Right. Crystal seen my black ass freestyling behind Service Bar one night. She's like, I DJ. What up? You trying to smoke, nigga? She didn't say you trying to smoke, nigga, but that was the vibe. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Like when she said you want to smoke, it was like, that's what I heard in my mind. You want to smoke, nigga? Because that's how she kind of approached me on some rap shit.
Jay Short with the super chat says J-Lo, Cardi B, and Joe do stuff in black platforms they wouldn't dare do at the Latin Grammys, but they get around black people and it's the ratchet time. It's an interesting perspective. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. And so let's audit this further either. And I hate to provide like this history lesson. It's like, well, how far away are we from these Filipino, Samoan? I've done some research on my family. It appears we were in the Barbados before we made it to Charleston, South Carolina in 1833. How much time did we spend in the Barbados before we came from Africa? Does that make us more Caribbean and less African? How do we audit these circumstances in these situations where we've been indigenously misplaced to begin with too? That's what I mean. It's like, it's a lot to unpack, because when I look at my Filipino and Samoan and sometimes Puerto Rican and Hispanic culture, it's like, well, shit, you ain't too far, motherfucker. Like, my grandfather is 100% Blackfoot Indian. My other grandfather is 1/3 Cherokee. It's like, I got Native American running through my blood from this generation, this past century. I mean, we all come from somewhere. I think that, culturally, people have, created their own culture.
Can how about this? Can I take an Indian name because I have like a certain amount of Indian blood? Can I pull up on a reservation like, hey, my grandfather 100% Blackfoot, other one 1/3 Cherokee. Get a little, sprinkle me, man. Hit me with a little something. Let a brother get some reparations and get in a casino or something. How they gonna play?
Yeah, many of the black natives were kicked out of those tribes to get some of those reparations, but that's a whole nother story.
Right. So. Hold on. When I was in Cali,
distant relatives. Yes, we're all distant relatives. Thanks, Reggie Noble.
When I was in Cali, one of the guys that I worked with was getting reparations because he was a Spanish Indian and like in all that. And I was like, let me take a test and get in on some of that. He's like, I'm not letting you in on any of this.
Yeah. Get your own, bruh.
He's like, you're not getting in on this.
Khalid with the super chat says East Coast Afro Latinos are black and we accept that. Yes, I mean, like I said.
Ooh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Hold on. How about up in New York City where it's like, well, damn near all of my New York City friends are Panamanian, Trinidadian.
All of my New York City friends are Dominican pretty much. I mean, hold on. Vietnamese and all of it.
I mean, we just bought Denim on. Denim's family from St. Croix. They're not even from here. Like, they from the Bronx, but they from St. Croix. Like, her older brothers grew up swimming in the water and shit off the banks of the coast in the morning. You know what I mean? It's like,
New York is a melting pot, definitely.
Ain't they black? Hold on. If you're from St. Croix and then you end up in the Bronx, ain't you black?
No, you're from St. Croix.
But I mean,
you're black, but this is the thing. You know what?
Who are these people?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. You're black, but you're not black American.
Okay,
which is a different lineage.
So is the N-word reserved for black Americans? Because if so, can't nobody in New York use it?
Some could some can make that argument because when
That's
you
what I'm
say
saying.
we took that word and took the ownership, who is we? That's Black Americans, right? That's an American connotation, correct?
But hold on. It's also a cultural assimilation and appropriation. That's why I'm bringing up Crystal. It's like when I met Crystal, she appeared to be more assimilated in the hip hop culture than Obi was. Obi was the African. He was the black guy.
But he wasn't the Black American,
she's Filipino.
though, right?
She's Filipino. Technically, she's Asian Indian. Or
But
whatever
again,
that
you're talking about Black American culture, though, right? It's a little different.
They were both raised. They were both raised in Black American culture on the same coast.
I understand being raised in, but I do believe that there are things that are just in your blood. I just do.
I get what you're saying. We
You know
can
what I
go
mean?
on and on about this one, right?
I mean,
Well, we
I'm
can be
just
here
saying.
all day auditing this, but that's why it's so problematic.
I mean, yeah, it's really no way to audit it in that way. All I'm saying is everybody's comfortable with whatever they're comfortable with. But if somebody comes to you and says, yo, I'm not cool with you saying that, I don't think the proper response is to give them a fight about it. Just be like, you know what? You're right. Cool. You know what I mean? I've even had Black Americans, at least I believe they were, tell me they're not cool with me saying that around them. And I'm like, cool.
Okay, so check this out.
And if that offends you, if anything offends you, if me saying hat offends you and you got a justification for it, or even if you don't, I'm not going to say that around you, just out of respect.
Okay, so check this out. I talked to a Filipino lady today who I work with named Ruth. Her husband and her kids actually live up the street. I'm thinking about getting a site in the martial arts that her kids are in. She's Filipino. We were literally having this conversation today, not about the N-word, about the reverse side. I'm like, and I was literally asking, I was like, what do you call it when you're half black, half Filipino? She's like, oh, that's mulatto.
Yeah,
Okay. You know what I mean? I'm like, so what is it to be white and to be Filipino? She's like, that's Matisse.
But there it is.
Matissa. I was like, okay. I was like, ain't that the same thing though? She was like,
no.
Kind of sort of. It mean mix. It mean blend. It mean swirl.
Right. Well, they have to have their different ways to identify, what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. Don't a half black, half Filipino man or woman get to use the N word? You get what I'm saying about how to audit it?
I don't know. I mean, again, if somebody jumps up and says, I'm not cool with you using that, then who are you to say? You know what? You're going to think this is funny. I think it's cringy for me when Drake uses the N word.
It's been cringy for me at times, but then I have to remember it's like, well, shit, Mike.
It just don't sound real coming from him. Now, who am I?
I mean, Mike. I don't do this too often, but I'm just going to do it. Mike.
What's up?
Fifi half black, half Filipino. She from the east side of Atlanta. She be using the N-word, and ain't nobody ever said a fucking word, and they better not. She from my neighborhood, Mike. She half black, half Filipino. She from the fucking neighborhood, Mike. She from the east side of Atlanta.
I feel you. But like I said.
Hold on. Before, east side of Atlanta, upstate New York, Rochester. Mom from Oakland.
Cool. I hear what you're saying.
Father from New Orleans. How you gonna tell her not to use the N-word?
Cool. This is what I'm saying.
How you gonna tell her?
Listen to me. When you become a global star and people aren't aware of any of those things, you can't tell somebody from St. Louis that, you know what, if they feel like Jennifer Lopez shouldn't be using the N-word, I mean, it is what it is.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have a problem with it because I know where she's from. I'm like, no. I was like, she's been saying that word since she was about 10.
But again, when the rest of the world's looking at you and people say that they're offended and, and they dig deep in that way, what are you going to say?
But the niggas in the Bronx said it was okay.
But the niggas in the Bronx aren't the whole world. Cool.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. It is what it is.
So we need to be auditing the circumstances better and coming with a consensus, or we need not be complaining as much.
But I'm saying when people
we need to come together or watch it fall apart.
But cool. When people are actually auditing it, you're saying they're complaining.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So
No, that's
it's got to
fair.
start.
No,
The auditing
I was
has to
thinking, I was like,
start
I don't got
somewhere.
nothing to that. No, that's fair. When you're saying that, I wasn't even expecting to have this deeper conversation about this. I did not think that the Tiger thing was going here.
Yeah. I didn't think it was either, but we're here now. You ready to go to this Killer Mike thing before we get up out of here? Is that too heavy of a conversation?
Somebody is saying Foxy is Filipino.
She is.
We got a homegirl, Nakia, that's from Foxy's fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
Everybody in the fucking neighborhood is Panamanian, Trinidadian,
Right.
fucking Filipino or some shit.
New York is a melting pot of a lot. New York is a whole lot.
Oh, hold on. And let's go back down to authenticity again, because you said something that was very important about House of Pain and Jump Around. Part of that reason why that song has stayed in our community is because it's such an appropriate relationship and explanation of theirs. They weren't appropriating Black culture with Jump Around. They were actually big upping Irish culture and using a hip hop interpretation and express the love for their culture.
Yeah.
Jump Around is some straight Boston, good old white boy Irish shit. And that's why we take to it, because
really
it's
organic.
It's like, look at these white boys going hard. That's how they roll.
Jump Around sounds as organic as Slam does to me.
Can I tell you something? I prefer Jump Around to Slam.
Me too.
Straight up.
Me too. I agree.
I think it's a better song.
I think
Jump Around's a better song than Slam. I do.
Did you hear about this Mace stuff?
How can we avoid it? He's in the limelight. I thought I could have sworn part of being a pastor was the humility that came with it. That's why pastors is out here getting robbed. Apparently this pastor's robbing niggas in rap.
Well,
these dudes are so whack.
Well, I don't know if the contract was released or whatever, but I think it's probably more to the contract than what meets the eye. But I thought the part that was interesting is when he was talking about, the disdain that he has for Puff, and why he walked away. And I think that it's really interesting to me because it's one thing where it's like, I get what he's saying. He did a lot of work that he didn't get a lot of credit for and didn't get the financial monetary gain that he should have gotten from it, according to him. But I think it's the way it was done, where he, kind of went to the church that kind of was a little bit unexplained. But I do get the fact that Mace's impact doesn't really get... He's kind of like a cliff note in history. Because somebody said something to me earlier. When you think Bad Boy as a culture, do you think more Big or do you think more Mace?
It's Big. It's not even conversation.
I think Big, but you know what? I would play devil's advocate and say I think Big is big. But culturally, what we remember Bad Boy for with the shiny suits and dancing around and all that, that's Mace.
That was a year. That's what I'm saying. It's like that was a year. That was literally 1 year. It was literally
that was what, 97, 98.
Yeah, 1 year. That year. 1 year. DMX killed all that shit. That's why Double Up sounds so terrible. It's like, oh, that's over. DMX killed that. It's like, oh, thank God. Locks couldn't even do their shit.
No, it's real.
It's like, damn. Like the Locks literally said, it's like, damn. It's like we thought we was jumping on the Dynasty Bulls because we had Big. Then Big died. Then X dropped. It's like we on the wrong fucking team. It's like, sure are.
Switching it up. Reggie Noble with the super chat says, Lemon character moving his head from left to right with his mouth wide open and the red hearts in his eyes.
Lemon head.
Yo, man. But I think that Mace, I didn't realize that he was doing so much music heavy. I didn't realize he was behind so many artists. And he said he's done some writing for French Montana and all that too. So I think it's very interesting, and I think Mace really wants his props from that era, but I think he
wants his money. He don't want his props. He don't care about that. Okay. He wants the money.
I think that's fair. I think that
I'm sorry. He's always been a little bit of like he's always been a little bit of an attention whore. Okay.
Think so?
Think so. I mean, where have you been? Where have you been?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I never really was that big of a Mace fan, but I think
me neither. I like him, but it's like I like Murder Mace.
I think that he knew how to make hits, and when he said that he put together More Money, More Problems, I could believe that.
Okay, so here's what I'll tell you is that don't nobody want to hear More Money, More Problems without Big on it, because I really don't care for the first two verses, and I really skipped the Big's part.
I disagree with that, but I feel you. I mean, but you don't like the happy shit. So I wouldn't expect.
No. Let's have an honest conversation right quick.
Go ahead.
When he's talking about he's the author of More Money, More Problems, that's fine. There's about 20 songs on that? 22 songs?
Well, I don't think this was mostly directed at Big. I think this was
I'm
mostly directed at
I'm saying
No Way
something
Out.
about his skill level right quick. It's like, okay, you did More Money, More Problems. It's like, you know that ranks like on Life After Death though, right? Like in terms of like quality of song? Because it's not like on the top half.
Yeah, I don't really know where More Money, More Problems ranks when it comes to Life After
Not
Death.
high.
I don't even know if it's top 10.
It might be the weakest song on the first disc. Right.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is. Niggas bleeding, I got a story to tell. What's beef? I love the dough. Last days, fucking you tonight. Kick in the door. Somebody gotta die. It's the fucking Weak Link song. So it's like when you're like running around shouting around like, oh, I made More Money, More Problems. Oh, you mean the weakest song on disc one?
That could be revisionist history, Coop, because the thing
That's not revisionist history.
No,
it's just I
remember, and I know you really aren't a fan of the happy shit, so I'm sure
that's the Hype Williams video.
I'm sure that's probably real for you.
Not Puffy Combs.
But I do remember when that album, before the album came out, I think one of the first songs I ever heard on Life After Death was the More Money, More Problems, and it had DJ Clue on it. I was like, yo, this shit is crazy or whatever. But I think the fact that More Money, More Problems became such a big hit and we've heard it so much, it's easy to kind of push it to the back. I think it's better than Hypnotize. You know I'm not a big fan of Hypnotize.
It's not. But those are the two weakest songs.
I like it better than Hypnotize.
I mean, aren't those the two weakest songs on this one?
Probably.
Singles?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I tell you about Hypnotize versus More Money, More Problems. Hypnotize is 3 verses of Big. More Money, More Problems is 1. You can try to win that argument if you want to, but you're not going to. You feel me? Like not like on no rap.
He's definitely rapping better. Like verse for verse.
And on Hypnotize, let's keep in mind, that's sampling Slick Rick too. So there's like some real hip hop shit still going on. Biggie.
I mean, I feel that, but
sometimes your words just hypnotize me. Isn't that coming from Lottie Dottie, right?
It is.
It's coming from Lottie Dottie, right?
I don't think it was done
just
well.
like If I Ruled the World, kinda. You feel what I'm saying? It's like people be missing the hip hop in the record sometimes. It's like, no, he didn't take that from no corny cotton candy place. He pulled that from a real rap place. He pulled that from Lottie Dottie. As rap as it gets.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, LOL, Coop, you're downplaying Mace. Fab ran with Mace's style to this day. Mace left when he got hot. He wrote More Money, More Problems. Mace cooked Cam. He did do that. That was enough. You know what? I'm 0-2 when it comes. No, I'm 0-2 when it comes to Dipset. I just knew Cam was gonna cook Mace, man. I knew it, and it didn't happen.
Cam is better than Mace.
Huh?
See, this is what's crazy.
Yeah, Cam is better than Mace.
So Mace's biggest selling album. Okay, so Mace used to be in Children of the Corn. This is how rap works versus how skills work. Mace was in Children of the Corn with Big L, Murder Mace, Killer Cam. That's where the Killer Cam run, right?
And who was the other guy? I forgot his name. Somebody say it in the chat. Okay.
McGruff.
Yeah.
Mace is the third best lyricist in the crew, but he ended up being the biggest star. Like, first of all,
he was the best song maker out the gate.
I don't know about that. Listen to the songs that Cam has made for who's got a better hit sheet, Cam or Mace. So I don't believe that.
I'm talking about early on. Now, obviously,
that early on shit. That's what I'm saying. It's like that 1 year. Here we going back to this 1 year again.
2 years. Because you know what we could compare Mace to. Hold on. Let me do this. We could compare what Mace did in that period to what Snoop did with The Chronic and Doggy Style.
Oh, it's not even close to that.
No, but you know what I mean. Mace on...
No, I don't know what you mean. He didn't make that many bangers. I don't know what you mean.
Again, nobody has.
There's no deep cover. No, Mike, there's no deep cover. There's nothing to the level of deep cover. Let Me Ride.
Can't nobody hold me down?
There's definitely nothing Doggy Style level.
Can't nobody hold me down?
Ooh, that's the best you got for Snoop's top shit?
No, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just comparing the fact that I'm going to give Mace credit for No Way Out, just like we're giving Snoop credit for the Chronic.
When's the first time you heard Mace?
First time I heard him was on the 112 remix.
Okay. On the Only You remix?
Yeah.
Yeah. That might have been the first time I heard him too. Okay.
Jay
You remember
Short
the
with the
first
super
time?
chat says there was a lane for Mace. Look at Nelly. He did kind of create a lane there. Even if we look at what Drake has become, was there anything like Mace before that? He even created a
What
lane
did
for
he do
Puffy.
exactly?
He created a lane for like that. How do I say it?
Name 5 great records.
Kind of like that pop rap star.
Name 5 great records.
5 great records from just Mace alone.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I'm not a huge Mace fan, but his
Okay.
impact is what it is.
They're not there, Mike. They don't exist. Like I'll tell you what. Tell Me What You Want with Total. Pretty tough.
Love that record.
Feel So Good. I actually like Feel So Good. I like what they did with that joint.
Feel So Good is cool.
Can't Nobody Hold Me Down.
Great record.
More Money, More Problems.
Are we counting those records? Okay.
I mean, we have to.
I love the record with 8 Ball and MJG to play away.
24 Hours to Live. So his 5 best records, 2 of them got a lot of help, and the other 3 got a lot of sampling.
Is it possible that a lot got taken from him that would have been his?
Is it a possibility that Puff does that to everybody and Mace is still overrated? Well, yes.
You know what? This is what I will say, and I want to play devil's advocate here. I do think what Puff became.
I think Mace was easier to steal from because Puff realized he could never rap big shit like that.
I think the image that Puff took on as an artist is a direct reflection of the artist that Mace was. Is that fair to say? That's why they were viewed as such a duo.
No, fashion-wise, I can see that.
I mean, just his presentation as an artist.
Well, that's what I'm saying, fashion-wise.
I mean, even the way that he was spitting his shit. Like you said, he couldn't spit like Big and Jada and all them were.
So he needed a lower-level MC. Right. He needed...
somebody who, I don't even want to say lower level, but somebody who was able to make those kind of crossover records.
Mike. We're not doing that.
No, I'm not talking about Big. I'm talking about like somebody like Jada, right? As great as Jada is, he couldn't have made Feel So Good like Mace did at that time. It just is what it is.
I mean, no, but what we're finding out is that our most memorable Puff verse, who wrote it?
Yeah.
Kiss.
The better MC, yes.
So like when you're saying
I don't know if Mace...
it's like, no, hold on, no, this is what I'm saying. Mace played the game more. The Locks are street dudes. Like Mace is in his position because he capitulated more than Black Rob and the Locks did. Not because he was a better songwriter or more talented. Black Rob is a better songwriter than Mace to me. Mace can't do some of the shit that Black Rob can do as a songwriter. God bless the dead.
Harlem World's not better than all of Black Rob's albums and possibly all of Jada's solo albums. Let's be real.
No, I'll tell you just like this, Mike. I do not think Harlem World is better than Life Story, and you can put that shit up for a vote.
We'll put that up there. I want to put Harlem World up there.
It's not better than Life Story.
I want to put Harlem World up there, a Life Story out there, and I bought Black Rob's Life Story album. I bought that. And I want to put The Kiss of Death
Jasmine,
up there. Not Kiss of Death,
Can
but
I Live
Kiss
with the
Game Goodbye.
Espacito with Lil' Kim.
I like those records a lot.
Down the Line joint.
I love those records.
Storytelling joint, Looking at Us with CeeLo. No, Harlem World's not better than any of that shit that I just named. Nothing against Harlem World, but it's just not better than Life Story.
Mad Max with the super chat says, love Cam more than I do Mace, but Mace is a better lyricist than Cam. How is Cam a better lyricist? Out rhyme who? I'm your prime X2.
Hold on. Name one verse Mace got like on the joint that you like, the Just Blaze joint on the Come Home With Me, The Rock. Name one verse Mace got like that.
People are going to bring up Mace's verse on Niggas and Started Something, but it's not.
Okay, let's bring up Cam's verse on Pull It with DMX.
Yeah.
Right. I got more
Cam's
Cam stuff to give you. Right.
Jay Short with the super chat says
Mace
Harlem
back
World.
And forth with DMX like Cam.
Jay Short says Harlem World's greater than Cam's greatest hits. I want to put Harlem World up there, and you know what? Thanks for mentioning Cam. I'm gonna put Harlem World up there, Black Rob's album up there, Jadakiss' first album, and we'll put Come Home With Me up there because Come Home With Me is Cam's best album, or is it Purple Haze?
Beat wise, it's Purple Haze, but rhyme wise, it's Come Home With Me. But you can put Life Story, Come Home With Me, Harlem World, and what else we got?
I was gonna say Kiss the Game Goodbye.
Kiss the Game Goodbye. That's fine.
Andre
Kiss the Game
Shashir
is about you
says,
probably.
life story easily.
Life story is great.
Leo, he says, Mace and Puff were the perfect fit. If Mace was so whack, why did so many people buy this style? I mean, his style is still going on.
It's like, hold on, Mike, I want you to listen to what you just said. Okay, so when you're like, Fab took Mace style, didn't Jadakiss just body Fab?
Like I said, I
On songs.
I never, no.
With songs.
I never said, don't do that.
Body
I never
Fab.
said that Mace was
Ain't
a
no
better.
Mace babies running around.
I never said
rap
Mace
shit.
was a better rapper than Jada. I said that Jada couldn't have made the songs that Mace made during that time period. It is what it is.
But hold on, but what songs did he make during this time period that you speak of that are so great?
Eric Terrell says, all those 90s bubblegum raps stole Heavy D's blueprint. Now that's fair.
I like that. That's insightful. And shout out to Heavy D.
Shout out to Heavy D. Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, I love Heavy D.
All right, let's go to this Killer Mike thing, and we're going to get out of here because we like 3-something hours in.
No, hold on. Before we do that, because I feel like we're going to end it with that. So it's like, I think, hold on. Can we cover the mystical thing and then the purple tape thing?
Let's do that, and maybe we can cover the Killer Mike thing Friday.
No, I feel like we need to talk about the Killer Mike. Hold on. No, because real brief, I'm going to say something.
What you want to say about Mystical? What is there to say about Mystical?
No, I just want people to understand, and this is why I'm saying I just want to be brief about it. Like, rappers get a rep, like rappers get targeted. You know what I'm saying? And rappers do get targeted. Rappers also get away with a lot because of fame. He's done this before multiple times.
Yeah.
And he's gotten a pass for his fame, Mike. And so the same way that we talk about how things are unfair when we get treated unfairly, well, we have to talk about when guys take advantage of their fame and their stardom. And it looks like he's a habitual line stepper of the most egregious order. Yeah. Niggas in prison, they hate two types of guys. Type of guys that play with little kids and the type of guys that abuse and rape women. There's a reason for that. And so he just, like, I just want him to get like some real help that he needs and deserves, and stop thinking that because somebody is famous that they're above the fray. He's been operating above the fray for some stardom, quite frankly, that hasn't really existed since we were in our first stint at college. Like when you were at Georgia State and I was at UNCG, that's the last time he was really big. And so it just stays above the fray too long, and we just have to be fair and balanced.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's a sad situation, like you said. He needs help, and hopefully he won't be able to hurt any more people, because like you said, things like this should be nipped in the bud the first time around.
Right. I mean, he literally has spent another decade free that he probably shouldn't have spent free, and now more women have suffered because of it.
Yeah.
This is why people don't trust the justice system. It's not always a black thing. It's just sometimes you can't fix stupid things.
Yeah. No, for real. Yeah. What was the other topic you said?
The purple tape just celebrated its anniversary.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Jay, show over the super chat real quick, and then we'll get to the purple tape. He says, Coop, you remember anything Cam said on Horse and Carriage? I remember Mace's verse. Cam even tried to do a remix without Mace, and even Silk the Shocker got him on that.
I remember What Means the World to You being way better than Horse and Carriage without fucking Mace. How about that?
I love What Means the World.
Right. How about that? How about that? How about Horse and Carriage wasn't the banger? How about What Means the World to You wasn't?
Well, that was a whole nother album, though. That was a whole other album.
It's a whole.
Now that second album was really dope.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all going to that 1 year that Mace was better than Cam, and like that 1 year he made hits. Cam had a whole career Mace didn't have, but okay.
What do you want to say about the purple tape that we haven't said on every other show?
No. I thought it was so funny. Do you know the two songs that got mentioned most in our chat were actually the two songs you and I like most, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. I was like, well, this is why people feel us, because we kind of think like heads do. And so
I didn't see that. Was it Glaciers of Ice?
Glaciers of Ice and Rainy Days.
Okay.
Your shit is Glaciers. My shit is Rainy Days. It was what I saw most in the chat. The real hip hop music stays with you. There's like a lot of verbal intercourse and ice cream, but Rainy Days and Glaciers is what I seen. And I was like, well, Rainy Days is my shit. Glaciers is Mike's shit. You know what I'm
Ice
saying?
Cream changed, man. I think there are a few moments in hip hop that I would say changed me, and Ice Cream was one of those. And Incarcerated Scarfaces, oddly enough, is a part of that too. But even with that being said, my personal favorite song on that album is Glaciers of Ice. That shit is crazy. It just shows
It's
you how strong this album is.
it's so I realized when I was listening to people, like I realized how great this album was when somebody recited some of Ray's bars from the Can It Be All So Simple remix, which I think is the weakest song on this album. And I was like, and that's why this is forever going to be a top 5 rap album, because like literally, if you go through our comments, like, man, Criminology had me in a zone. But some days I would wake up and it would be Ice Water. Be like, yo, that ice cream beat. Be like the nigga Ray on Spot Rushers. Be like Nas is 16 on Verbal Intercourse. Glaciers of Ice, Glaciers of Ice. Be like, man, I used to wake up and have to hear Rainy Days every day. Be like, oh my God, Jizz's verse on Guillotine. I don't know if there's an album with more highlight MC moments than the Purple Tape.
Straight up, everybody on there brought their A game.
You know what it is? It's ESPN's all-time highlight reel. It's like, these are the best 20 highlights ever played. That's what the Purple Tape is.
Yeah.
It's literally, it's a masterpiece amongst masterpieces. I always...
Nas's appearance is a highlight, right? RZA's appearance is a highlight. Method Man's appearances are highlights. Inspector Deck's appearance is a highlight. GZA's appearance is a highlight. Master Killer's appearance is a highlight. You God's appearance is a highlight. Like
this
everybody brought
Killer's coming out party.
Everybody brought some of their best pieces of work, and it started off with You God coming in there, giving one of his best verses at the time.
And it's still Ray's best song. Incarcerated Scarfaces is still Ray's best song.
Incredible.
It's one of the best rap songs ever. I told you Quiet Storm's better than Incarcerated Scarfaces.
I disagree.
I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I might have misspoke.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think
it's a tie. It's a tie. I can't pick one. I can't pick one of the other.
And then on the flip side, I think for me personally, it's the best album that RZA produced, production-wise.
Okay, so executive production speaking wise, only a Dr. Dre album belongs in front of the Purple Tape. And that includes It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold It Back. The Purple Tape is put better together, better than A Nation of Millions and Aquemini. Only some of Dre's shit.
Crazy.
And you want to know what? And beat for beat, it's the best beat for beat, it's the best beat out. So listen, so it is true like GOAT conversation now, because think about it. You say this all the time. It's the most lyrical album you ever heard. Well, beat for beat, it might be the best album ever too.
Straight
executive production wise, it might be the best album ever. So for
it's
most
got a
of the
lot
time,
going for it. Yeah.
Right. So when I told you, it's like for most of my life, it's been like Illmatic, Aquemini, Purple Tape. And I always told you, I only had Aquemini ahead about the diversity. But the songs on Aquemini have not held like the songs on the Purple Tape. And if you told me that the Purple Tape was the best rap album ever, the only thing that somebody could raise a problem with is saying, well, the content, because we got stuff like the low end theory and It Takes a Nation of Millions. And I'll give you that, but I won't give you shit else.
This is the thing. And me personally, if you ask me, would I rather listen? If you put both of those albums in front of me, Illmatic and the Purple Tape, more times than not, I'm probably going to pick the Purple Tape. But what I will give Illmatic over the Purple Tape is the fact that Nas held that down himself. And there's a lot that goes with that. And I think that the Purple Tape was such a team effort on all ends, not just production, but from a lyricist standpoint too. And it's a gumbo of things that made that album so great. And maybe that's why I like it, more times than not, more than Illmatic. But I got to give Illmatic that credit that, this one man, 18, 19 years old, prophetic, put together this incredible piece that can never be repeated.
So let's talk about it and then just kind of pause it right there. What if I told you I actually 100% agree with you just for different reasons? Mm-hmm. I listen to the Purple Tape more too, but I'm going to tell you why. The entertainment variety of it. Illmatic is just Nas straight through with the AZ verse. I've been listening to Nas my whole life, so sometimes I don't want to hear Illmatic all the way through. It's just Nas. The Purple Tape starts off, You God, Ray, Ghost. Then it's just Ray. Then it's Ray and Ghost. Then it's just Ray. Then it's Ray, Ghost, Deck, and GZA. Then it's back to Ray and Ghost. Then it's Kappa, Ray, and Ghost. Then it's Ray, Ghost, and Master Killer. Then it's Nas, Ray, and Ghost. Then it's just Ghost. Then it's Ray. Oh shit, is that Method Man on the last two songs?
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's more entertaining than Illmatic. You're more likely to put it on because you can weave. How about this? You can weave in and out of it quicker and be more entertaining. It's like, I want to hear Incarcerated Scarfaces, Glaciers of Ice, and Ice Cream today. Okay.
Right. Boom. T Nitty says SDE is Cam's most lyrical album. Yo, this is what I want to do, Coop, man. I know we're like 3 hours and 20 minutes in. Let's pick up this Killer Mike thing on Friday because I don't want to shortchange this subject because I think we can really go in on it and we'll just go from there. Because I mean, we got Thursday and then we got another show Friday. So
yeah, no, because we need to give that the actual time.
Yeah, I don't want to rush through that one.
Well, we got to give it the proper time and attention too because it's like, well, we're based in Atlanta. And that's some Atlanta shit going on right around us. You know, when I used to manage restaurants and hotels downtown, I used to run into Killer Mike. Like, he would be in a lot of the same spots that I was in, having lunch, meeting with a lot of business people. This is before his businesses started. He would be meeting with politicians and businessmen. And it's like, I never know why. And I'd be like, what the fuck is he doing? I thought he was doing Run the Jewels. We'll talk more about it on Friday about all of that as came to be. I think we got a couple more super chats and we can get out of here.
Yeah, Jay Show with the super chat says, one of these days y'all are going to have to tell us why you're so dismissive of Fabulous. I know his albums are hit or miss, but he's fire in the mixtapes. I think a lot of his mixtape stuff kind of goes under the radar. I love the soul tapes. I think that they're very dope, but you know, it's like Fab is one of those guys that's been consistent over decades now, and I think just for me personally, right, I think that what kind of hurt Fab in that era when he was coming out is that his singles that got big and that sold his albums didn't really represent him and how nice he is. I think Versus was a good chance for him to show people a lot of things. He just shouldn't have went against Jadakiss. I think that diminished it.
The Kiss thing hurt him a lot because it's like I was telling you when they were doing, Mike, do you remember what I said? I was like, I don't know what they're doing that for. That's not the same weight class.
No, it's not. And I think
it's not the same weight class.
I think Fab is in a high weight class, but I think there's a better matchup for him out there.
Look here. Jadakiss is in the heavyweight class, okay? Listen to me. He might be the best knockout artist in the heavyweight class. Like in the heavyweight classes, as in no, he can give it to Nas, he can give it to Jay, he can give it to Big. Big wanted to write more songs with him for a reason.
I would have liked to see Fab and Cam, if we're gonna be real. Like I think that would have been a little bit better.
That's what I'm saying. This is like, hey man, I told you, Kiss got the better of Jay and X in their prime on Blackout.
Yeah. And I love Cam, so that already lets you know where I think Fab really is. So, yeah, with Fab and Cam, I think that would have been really great for both sides, just showing that versatility and showing the lyricism, man. I think that should have been his matchup, not Jada.
It's just, how about this? It offers some perspective, but I'm also going to tell you this. It's like, I've just had too many run-ins with rappers. And when dude was saying something about it's like, why y'all rank Fab so high? I can't front in my mind. I thought about the time when he came down here and I actually met him. I
don't take any of that stuff. Like, whatever.
Right. And I was just like, you want to know what? I'm going to let it go. But it's like, man, like these dudes just don't be who y'all think that they are. And it's like, for me, I'm just a man first.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? I'm just a man first. So it's like when these dudes do like hoe shit or sucker shit or they behave a certain way because of who they are, I'll be like, no, nigga, you can get your fucking ass whooped out here. Why don't you tell security to slide to the side right quick and we can see what type of problem you really got with the people in Atlanta. I just don't like all the funky shit, Mike. I don't like it. It's because it's like dudes love you. Dudes fuck with you. It's like, don't take advantage of that when you go out in public. And it's like, I've seen it too many times, but just realistically, I consider him to be like the next tier. Like, I don't consider him to be in Kiss and Big and Jay, Nas, Kendrick, Cole.
I love the music. I don't really love it. I don't know the individuals. I only know the music. So you know what I mean?
Like, I keep I feel you. No. I've had so many run-ins and sometimes it's hard to separate when dudes be talking this shit that you be talking and then you see them in person. It's like, nah, nigga, it's not that. It's never going to be like that. But that's neither here nor there because he's not the only dude that I've seen like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking that to him. It's like, oh, I need to let that go because I'm going to be honest with you. It's like that run-in with him, my daughter might have been 1 or 2 when that happened. Yeah. Daughter's fucking driving. You feel what I'm saying?
Everybody's different, man. We all grow up and we all live on.
Yeah, and we all grow up. But Mike, back to this weight class shit. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, can my vision be skewed by something like that? Yeah. But he wasn't never in that weight class, though. Like, look at what Beanie Siegel did to Kiss. Can you imagine what would happen if Siegel went after somebody like Fab? Don't tell me he's in a heavyweight weight class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get up out of here, man. We're going to talk to the people on Friday. And peace to everybody. Enjoy your Thursday. Great show.